What if every choice you ever made, every tear you ever shed, every silent vow you whispered to the stars was not lost to time, but was meticulously inscribed into the living fabric of the universe itself, not on paper and with ink, but in threads of pure light, not stored in a single distant place, but held in the memory of everything, everywhere, and all at once? What if your life, in its entirety, with all its private triumphs and silent sorrows, was a story of cosmic significance, a verse in the endless poem of creation? There is a feeling that haunts the modern world, a sense of being a stranger in your own life, a quiet fragmentation, a feeling that the person you are at work, the person you are with your family, and the person who lies awake in the dark of night are all disconnected pieces of a puzzle you have forgotten how to solve. There is a deep weariness, not just of the body, but of the soul, an exhaustion that comes from a life of constant striving, of running towards a horizon that never seems to get any closer, all while carrying the invisible weight of an unwritten script, a forgotten purpose. It is the hollow echo of a question you are afraid to ask out loud. Is this all there is? But beneath that noise, beneath the chaos and the fatigue, there is another, older whisper, a call to return, not to escape the world, but to find your true center within it. There exists a space, a dimension of consciousness that has been called many names by many cultures throughout history. Think of it as a great library of souls, a cosmic chronicle that holds the energetic blueprint of every soul and its journey through all of its lifetimes. This is the truth behind the feeling that there is something more. This is the source of the story you feel you are a part of. This is the domain known as the Akashic Records. It is not a myth. It is your birthright. It is the memory of you. So now, let us begin this journey not by searching outside, but by turning inward. Find a moment of stillness. Wherever you are, allow your body to settle. Take a slow, deliberate breath, and another. You do not need to force anything or achieve anything. Simply give yourself permission to be here, fully present in this moment. We are creating a sacred space, a quiet sanctuary where you can begin to listen. Not with your ears, but with the full depth of your being. We are preparing to open the book of you. Let us turn the first page together. Imagine, for a moment, that you are standing in a space without walls, without a ceiling or a floor. A silence that is not empty, but full. It hums with a silent, ancient music. And all around you, as far as the mind can conceive, are shelves. Shelves that stretch into infinity, holding not books of paper and leather, but volumes bound in pure, living light. Some glow with the soft, steady warmth of a hearth fire. Others shimmer with the brilliant crystalline blue of a glacier. Still others pulse with the fierce, passionate red of a dying star. Each one is a life. Each one is a soul. This is the Cosmic Library, the Akashic Records. It is not a place you travel to, for you are already in it. It is the very field of consciousness in which you exist. Now, let us speak of the profound human ache this library soothes. It is the fear of being forgotten, the terror of insignificance. In a world of billions, amidst the relentless spin of galaxies and the silent march of eons, it is the quiet, chilling thought that your life, your struggles, your secret joys will simply vanish without a trace, like a footprint on a shore washed clean by the tide. It is the feeling of being a cosmic orphan, a story without a reader, a song sung into the void. This fear is the source of so much of our striving, the desperate need to leave a mark, to build a monument, to have our name remembered. We believe that if we are not seen, we do not matter. We scream into what we perceive as the chilling silence of an indifferent universe, hoping for an echo, any echo, to confirm that we were here. This deep, existential dread is not a flaw in your character. It is a symptom of disconnection. It is the soul's cry of homesickness for this library, for the profound, unshakable truth that you have never, for a single moment, been unseen. This very idea, the notion of such a library, immediately creates a conflict within you. It is a necessary and healthy conflict. On one side stands the guardian of your logical mind. This part of you is skeptical, grounded, demanding proof. It raises its voice, saying, "This is a beautiful fantasy, a comforting story we tell ourselves to feel better about the finality of existence." It is a coping mechanism, a poetic metaphor, but nothing more. Where is the evidence? Where are the peer-reviewed papers on cosmic libraries? This voice is not your enemy. It is a vital protector, designed to help you navigate the material world, to keep you safe from delusion. It honors the laws of physics as we know them, and it deserves respect. To deny this part of yourself is to create an internal war. But on the other side, there is a different kind of knowing. A whisper from the depths of your being. It does not argue or present evidence. It does not need to. It simply resonates. It is the part of you that gets goosebumps when you hear a particular piece of music, the part of you that feels a sense of profound connection when looking up at the night sky, the part of you that has felt the presence of something more in moments of great love or deep sorrow. This intuitive self feels the truth of the cosmic library, not as a fact to be memorized, but as a memory to be recalled. It recognizes the concept as a homecoming. The conflict, then, is not about which voice is right and which is wrong. The journey is about allowing both voices to exist and learning to listen to the wisdom of each in its proper context. It is about allowing the heart's recognition to gently hold the mind's doubt, creating a space where a deeper truth can emerge. Here is the core message that resolves this conflict, the ray of light that cuts through the fog of doubt and the fear of the void. Your life is not a random accident in a meaningless cosmos. You are a necessary and deliberate expression of the universe itself. Every single moment of your existence is an act of cosmic importance, because through your experience, the universe is learning about itself. The library does not just passively record your life from some distant, observational perch. Your consciousness, your feelings, your choices are the very pens that write the book of you. The joy you feel is the universe feeling joy through your heart. The challenge you overcome is the universe discovering its own resilience through your will. The compassion you show to another being is the universe recognizing its own unity through your hands. Nothing is lost. Not the silent tear you shed in the middle of the night that no one else saw. That tear is a sentence written in liquid silver, speaking of love, or loss, or profound release. It is held, honored, and understood. Not the small, unseen act of kindness, the decision to help when no one was watching. That act is a chapter written in golden light, a testament to the grace that flows through you. Not the searing pain of betrayal or the dull ache of loneliness. Those experiences are not punishments. They are passages written in fire, forging your soul's strength, deepening its capacity for empathy, teaching it invaluable lessons that become part of its eternal wisdom. The volumes in this library are not static accounts of what happened. They are living, breathing fields of energy. They hold the vibration, the texture, the emotional frequency of every experience. Your life is not just a story being told. It is a symphony being played, and its music resonates throughout the entire cosmos, forever. You are not invisible. You are a focal point through which creation experiences and knows itself. Your existence is a sacred trust. So, how do we begin to engage with this profound truth in a practical, tangible way? We can start by honoring the act of recording. I invite you to begin a new kind of journaling. Not a diary of events, but a ledger of your soul's resonance. Get a notebook, something that feels good to hold. And each day, or whenever you feel called, do not simply write down what you did. Instead, ask yourself deeper questions and record the answers. Ask, what was the energetic texture of this day? Was it smooth and flowing like water, or was it jagged and sharp like broken glass? Ask, What was the frequency of my joy today? Was it a bright, sudden spark or a low, steady hum? Inquire. Where did I feel the contraction of fear in my body, in my throat, my chest, my stomach? And when you felt it, what was the story it was telling you? Document the color of your gratitude. Write down the shape of your longings. Treat this journal as your conscious interaction with your own Akashic record. By paying this kind of deep, reverent attention to your inner world, you are no longer a passive subject of your life's story. You become an active co-author. You are signaling to the universe and to your own deeper self that you are listening, you are paying attention, you are honoring the sacred data of your own existence. This simple act of witnessing your own experience without judgment is a profound act of self-love. It is the first step in reclaiming your power as the creator of your own narrative. Each page you fill is a deliberate inscription, a conscious contribution to the magnificent, glowing volume of your soul that rests, honored and eternal, on the shelves of the cosmic library. You are standing now in this infinite archive. The air itself hums with the wisdom of ages, the stories of galaxies, the sagas of souls. You have found your way here. You have quieted the mind enough to feel the truth of this space. You have acknowledged the existence of your own sacred volume, a book of light pulsing with all that you have ever been and all you have ever felt. You know now, with a certainty that transcends logic, that you matter, that your story has a permanent and beautiful home. And as you stand here, in the midst of this profound recognition, a new question naturally arises in the stillness. A question not of if, but of how. Now that you know your volume exists upon these shelves, how does one learn to read this language of light? How does one begin to decipher the sacred story of a soul? You stand within the infinite library, knowing that your story is held here, sacred and seen. And the question echoes in the vibrant silence. How do I read the language of light? How do I access the wisdom held within my own Akashic volume? The first and most crucial understanding is this. You put away your eyes. You quiet your analytical mind. We have been trained our entire lives to believe that knowledge is acquired through intellect, through the linear procession of words on a page, through the building of logical arguments. We are masters of deconstruction, of analysis, of debate. We trust the mind as the sole arbiter of reality. And for navigating the material world, it is an indispensable tool. But to read the language of the soul, to interface with the Akashic field, this tool is like using a hammer to measure the wind. It is the wrong instrument for the task. The language of Akasha is not a language of thought. It is the language of resonance. Consider the state of your inner world on any given day. It is often a storm, a relentless cascade of thoughts. The mind is a ceaseless narrator, commenting, judging, planning, worrying, regretting. It replays conversations from yesterday. It rehearses anxieties for tomorrow. It constructs elaborate scenarios of triumph and disaster that will never come to pass. This constant mental noise is the single greatest obstacle to accessing your deeper wisdom. It is a form of static, a thick, dense fog that obscures the subtle light of the soul. We have become so identified with this inner narrator that we believe we are this voice. We live our lives as heads walking around on bodies, disconnected from the vast intelligence that resides below the neck. We are numb to the wisdom of our own selves, deaf to the guidance of our own hearts. This is the great malady of our time. We are drowning in information, but starving for wisdom. We think our way through life, but we have forgotten how to feel our way through it. This addiction to thought, this tyranny of the noisy mind, is a habit we must gently, patiently begin to untangle if we are to hear the far more subtle and far more truthful whispers of our own soul. Here is the central metaphor to hold in your heart. Your soul is a perfectly calibrated tuning fork. Imagine it, pristine and luminous, existing at the very core of your being. This tuning fork was forged in the heart of creation and it has one single sacred purpose: to vibrate at the frequency of your highest truth, your authentic self. It is your divine instrument of perception. Now, understand that everything in the universe, everything recorded in the Akashic field, is also a vibration. Every potential choice you could make, every person you could meet, every path you could walk, every belief you could hold, each has its own unique energetic signature, its own frequency. The Akashic Records are not a static encyclopedia of facts. They are a living, dynamic symphony of potential and probability. Your task, as a conscious navigator of this field, is not to mentally analyze every possible note in this infinite symphony. Your task is to hold up your soul's tuning fork and feel what resonates with it. When you are considering a decision, when you are in the presence of a person, when you are contemplating a path, you are bringing your tuning fork into proximity with another frequency. If that person or that path is in alignment with your soul's truth, your tuning fork will begin to hum. It will vibrate in harmony. You will feel a sense of rightness, of expansion, of peace, even if the mind cannot logically explain why. There is a yes that you feel in your very bones. Conversely, if something is out of alignment with your soul's purpose, your tuning fork will remain silent, still, and cold. Or worse, it will feel a jarring dissonance, a sense of contraction, of wrongness, of inner resistance. You will feel a subtle no echoing through your entire being. This is the language of resonance. It bypasses the intellect entirely. It is a direct communication from your higher self, filtered through the instrument of your soul. Your only job is to get quiet enough to feel the vibration. This is a process of learning to feel again. It is an unlearning of the habit of intellectual override, where we talk ourselves into things that feel wrong, or talk ourselves out of things that feel right. It is a return to the wisdom of the body. Truth, in the Akashic sense, is a physical sensation. It feels like an opening in the chest. It feels like warmth spreading through your solar plexus. It feels like a sudden sense of clarity and lightness, as if a weight has been lifted. Falsehood or misalignment also has a physical signature. It feels like a knot in your stomach. It feels like a tightening in your throat. It feels like a vague sense of dread, a subtle feeling of being drained of energy. Your body is a flawless lie detector, constantly giving you feedback from the Akashic field. But we have been taught to ignore it, to numb it, to power through it. The journey now is to reverse this, to begin to treat the feelings in your body not as inconvenient distractions, but as sacred guidance. It is about building a new trust with yourself, a trust that says, "My feelings are a valid and highly intelligent source of information." Let us anchor this in a simple, practical way. You do not need to sit for hours in meditation to begin this process. Start with just 5 minutes. Find a place where you will not be disturbed. Sit comfortably and do not try to do anything. Do not try to clear your mind or achieve a blissful state. Simply listen. Listen to the sounds around you. Then, listen to the silence between the sounds. Shift your awareness from what you are hearing with your ears to what you are feeling with your body. Feel the weight of your body on the chair. Feel the air on your skin. Then, bring your attention inward. Feel the space inside your hands. Feel the space inside your chest. Feel the space inside your own head. You are not looking for anything in particular. You are simply practicing the art of subtle perception. You are turning down the volume of the mind's static, even just for a few moments, so that you can begin to perceive the fainter signals. This practice is like training a muscle. The more you do it, the more sensitive you become to the subtle hum of resonance, the silent vibration of your soul's tuning fork. You are learning to distinguish the frantic shouting of the mind from the calm, steady voice of your inner truth. So, you hold within you this perfect instrument, this divine tuning fork of the soul, exquisitely designed to vibrate in harmony with your truest path. You understand now that accessing the wisdom of the Akashic Records is not an intellectual exercise, but an embodied, felt experience. It is a journey from the noisy attic of the mind down into the warm, quiet sanctuary of the heart. But as this realization settles, a new question of power now emerges, rising from the silence. If you possess the instrument, who holds it? Who has the authority to strike this fork and listen to its song? Who is the master of this resonance? Who, in this vast, sacred library of souls, is the true librarian? You are holding the tuning fork of your soul, feeling its potential to hum in harmony with truth. And the question of power hangs in the air, a final barrier to entry. Who is the master of this resonance? Who is the librarian with the authority to access these sacred records? The answer is at once the simplest and the most terrifying truth you will ever embrace. You are. It is you. It has always been you. There is no one else. Breathe into that statement. Feel the resistance that may rise within you. Feel the voice of disbelief that says, "No, not me. I am too flawed, too ordinary, too uncertain. There must be someone wiser, someone purer, someone more enlightened who holds the keys." This resistance is universal. For lifetimes, we have been conditioned to outsource our power. We have been taught to look for the authority figure outside of ourselves. In childhood, it was our parents and teachers. In society, it is experts and leaders. And in spirituality, it is the guru, the priest, the prophet, the channeler, the psychic. We have engaged in a vast project of spiritual outsourcing, seeking answers about our own souls from everyone but ourselves. We do this because it feels safer. If someone else gives us the answer, and that answer proves wrong, the responsibility is theirs. We can remain blameless. The fear of being responsible for our own lives, for our own choices, for our own connection to the divine, is one of the deepest fears we possess. To be your own librarian means you can no longer blame the mapmaker if you get lost. You are the mapmaker. This search for an external authority creates the illusion of a gatekeeper. It fosters the belief that the Akashic Records are a celestial fortress, guarded by spiritual elites who may, if you are worthy, grant you a brief audience with your own truth. This is perhaps the greatest lie ever told. Let this be stated with absolute clarity. No one holds a key to your soul's record that is more powerful than the one you carry within you. No psychic, no medium, no spiritual teacher has a clearer line to your higher self than you do. They may, at their best, act as a temporary guide. They may be able to reflect your own light back to you so you can see it more clearly. They might use their own tuning fork to help you find the resonance in yours. But they can never, ever be the librarian of your library. To believe that they can is to stand in front of your own home, key in your pocket, waiting for a stranger to unlock the door. The moment you place another human being between you and your own soul, you have given away your power. You have forgotten who you are. The spiritual path is not about finding the right gatekeeper. It is about realizing there is no gate, and you have been living in the garden all along. So, where is this key you supposedly hold? How do you use it? The key is not a secret mantra, a complex ritual, or an ancient artifact. The key has a simple name: self-awareness. That is it. The master key that unlocks every door in the cosmic library, including your own, is the unflinching, compassionate light of your own awareness. This key is not given to you. It is forged by you. It is forged in the fires of radical self-honesty, when you have the courage to look at your own patterns, your own shadows, your own egoic justifications, without turning away. It is tempered in the cool waters of self-compassion, when you can look upon your perceived flaws and failures not with judgment, but with the gentle understanding of a loving parent. It is polished, day after day, by the simple, dedicated practice of presence. Every time you choose to observe a thought, instead of becoming it, you are forging this key. Every time you honor a feeling in your body instead of numbing it, you are strengthening your grip on this key. Every time you choose a response rooted in love over a reaction rooted in fear, You are polishing its surface until it shines. You do not need to become perfect to use this key. You do not need to have all the answers. You only need to be willing to look, willing to listen, willing to be honest with yourself about what you truly feel and what you truly know. The Akashic field responds to authenticity. It is a mirror. When you approach it wearing a mask, pretending to be someone you are not, the mirror reflects the mask. When you approach it with a mind full of second-hand beliefs and borrowed opinions, the mirror reflects a confused and blurry image. But when you approach it in the nakedness of your own authentic being, with your fears, your hopes, your vulnerabilities all laid bare in the light of your own awareness, the mirror reflects your soul. The library doors swing open. The information you seek is not downloaded like a computer file. It arises within you as a deep, quiet knowing, a sudden insight, a shift in perspective, a feeling of profound peace. You are not accessing something external. You are coming home to yourself. You are remembering what you have always known. Let us make this profound concept practical. The muscle of self-trust, the very thing that turns the key of self-awareness, is built through practice. Start today. Start with the small things. When you decide what to eat for your next meal, pause, close your eyes, ask your body, not your mind or your habits, what it truly desires for nourishment, and then honor the answer without judgment. When you get dressed, hold up two different shirts. Feel them. Which one resonates with the energy you want to embody today? Which one feels more like you? Choose that one. When you are walking down the street and you come to an intersection, pause. Which path feels lighter? Which direction feels more inviting? Let your intuition, not your GPS, guide you for a few blocks. These acts seem trivial. They are not. They are revolutionary. Each time you make a small, intuitive choice and honor it without seeking external permission or validation, you are casting a vote for your own sovereignty. You are sending a powerful message to the universe and to your own subconscious mind. I trust myself. I am my own authority. I am the librarian. And as you practice this in small ways, your confidence will grow, allowing you to bring this same self-referential guidance to the larger decisions of your life. You now stand at the threshold of your own sacred library. You can feel the golden key of awareness, warm in the palm of your hand. The air around you is still, expectant, recognizing you not as a supplicant, not as a curious visitor, but as its rightful custodian, its master. The great lie of your powerlessness has been exposed. The search for an outside authority is over. You are the one you have been waiting for. But as you stand here, poised to step fully into this role, a profound new question about the nature of this power arises. If you are indeed the librarian of your own record, if you hold the key to the story of your soul, does your authority extend beyond this present moment? How does this power interact with the seemingly solid, unchangeable chapters of the past and the mysterious, unwritten pages of the future? As the librarian, you stand with the key of self-awareness in your hand, realizing your own authority. But this power feels constrained, limited by the most fundamental structure of our reality, time itself. The past feels like a sealed book, its events set in stone, forever behind us. The future feels like a blank page, a terrifying or hopeful void we are constantly rushing towards. This perception of time as a one-way street, a relentless river carrying us from a fixed past to an unknown future, is the ultimate prison for the human mind. It is an illusion we must gently, lovingly dismantle if we are to wield our true power. Let us look closely at this prison. It has two primary cells where the human spirit is held captive. The first is the cell of the past. In this cell lives the prisoner of regret, of resentment, of shame. Their energy is constantly flowing backward, shackled to memories of what went wrong, what was said, what was done. They are perpetually reopening old wounds, reliving past hurts, making the ghosts of yesterday more real and more solid than the living flesh of the present moment. Their inner dialogue is a loop of, if onlys. If only I had made a different choice. If only they hadn't done that to me. This backward flow of life force is profoundly draining, leaving the present moment an anemic, gray landscape, devoid of vitality, because all of its color and energy is being used to repaint the scenery of yesterday. For this prisoner, the past is not over. It is a relentless, eternal present that eclipses all possibility of a new dawn. The second cell is that of the future. In this cell lives the prisoner of anxiety, of worry, of apprehension. Their energy is constantly projected forward, attempting to game out every possibility, control every outcome, and prepare for 1,000 potential disasters that will likely never occur. Their inner dialogue is a frantic chorus of what-ifs. What if I fail? What if I get sick? What if they leave me? This forward projection of life force is just as draining as the backward flow. It creates a state of constant, low-grade tension in the body and mind. It prevents any true rest or peace, because the self is never here. It is always out there, scouting the treacherous terrain of tomorrow. For this prisoner, the present moment is not a place to live, but merely a frantic and stressful rehearsal for a future performance that may never happen. Most of us oscillate between these two cells, rarely, if ever, setting foot in the open air of the present moment. This is the great tragedy of our mistaken relationship with time. Now, let us introduce a new metaphor, a new way of seeing. Imagine that this linear view, this river of time, is simply the surface view. It is real, but it is incomplete. The Akashic perspective invites you to dive beneath the surface of the river and discover that you are not in a river at all. You are in a vast, boundless ocean, the ocean of being. In a river, water that has passed is gone forever. But in an ocean, every single drop is connected to every other drop. There is no true separation. The past is not behind you. It is simply a different location in the same body of water, a deeper current. The future is not ahead of you. It is the entire field of potential currents and probabilities that coexist with you in this same ocean. And you, the conscious observer, you are always and only ever at one point, here, now. But from this single point of power, your awareness can reach anywhere. You can dive deep into the currents of the past. You can sense the potential of the currents of the future. The entire ocean is accessible from the point where you are. This single point of presence is called the eternal now. This is the great secret of the Akashic Records. They do not exist on a timeline. They exist wholly and completely within the quantum field of the eternal now. They are not a chronological history book. They are a living, holographic field of information that is fully present and accessible in every moment. This has staggering implications. It means that when you recall a painful memory from your past, you are not just remembering a dead event. You are accessing the living energy of that event, which still exists as a vibrational pattern within the ocean of your consciousness right now. And because you are accessing it in the now, you can work with it in the now. You, as the librarian, can bring the powerful tools of your present-day awareness, your compassion, your wisdom, and your forgiveness to bear on that old energy. You can shine the light of your current consciousness onto that dark, frozen pattern. This does not change the historical facts of what happened, but it can and does profoundly change the energetic charge of what happened. It is like finding a piece of toxic debris deep in the ocean of your being and using the light of your awareness to dissolve it, neutralizing its power to poison the surrounding waters of your present life. This is how the past is healed, not by forgetting it, but by meeting it with love in the only moment that exists. Now, the same principle applies to the future. From the Akashic perspective, the future is not a single, predetermined path. It is an infinite field of probabilities, of potential timelines, all existing as vibrations in the ocean of being. By consciously choosing your state of being in the present moment, by choosing thoughts of love over fear, by choosing feelings of gratitude over lack, By choosing to act from your highest integrity, you are sending powerful ripples out from your position in the now. You are activating a specific frequency. This frequency then begins to resonate with and draw towards you the people, opportunities, and experiences that vibrate on that same potential timeline. You are not predicting the future. You are actively co-creating it. You are choosing which potential current in the ocean you wish to align with. The power to shape your future, therefore, does not lie in worrying about it. It lies in the radical act of inhabiting the present moment so fully, so consciously, that your vibrational output becomes a powerful magnet for the future you desire. Let us anchor this in a practice of profound simplicity. Throughout your day, create anchors for yourself. Perhaps every time you walk through a doorway, or every time you take a drink of water, let that be your cue to pause. In that pause, for just a single breath, ask yourself two questions. First, where am I? The answer is always, invariably, here. Second, when am I? The answer is always, unshakably, now. As you acknowledge this, take one conscious breath. Feel the air enter your nostrils, fill your lungs, and then release. Or feel the soles of your feet firmly planted on the ground, connecting you to the earth. That's all. This practice, repeated throughout the day, acts as a powerful gravitational force. It pulls your consciousness, which has been scattered across the landscapes of past and future, back into the singular point of power where your life is actually happening. It is an act of reclaiming your life force from the ghosts of yesterday and the phantoms of tomorrow. It is the core discipline of the librarian. So you stand now, not on the fragile bank of a rushing river being swept along by its currents, but at the calm, powerful center of a vast ocean of being. Your point of power is not in the past or the future. It is here. It is now. From this eternal present, you understand that you have the ability to send healing into the depths of what has been, and to send intention into the potentials of what could be. And as you embrace this new understanding of time, you can now begin to explore the contents of this ocean more deeply. You can reach into the currents that were set in motion long before this lifetime began. What then do you find when you look into the vibrational patterns that flowed from your ancestors, from the lineage that shaped the very waters of your own life? Standing in the boundless ocean of now, with your authority as the librarian fully realized, you have the power to look into the currents that make up the waters of your own being. You notice that some of these currents did not begin with you. They flow from a source far upstream, from a time before your birth. This is where we confront one of the most profound and humbling truths of our existence. You are not an isolated island. You are a peninsula, deeply and inextricably connected to the vast continent of your ancestry. Have you ever felt a wave of sadness wash over you that has no apparent cause in your present life? Have you ever struggled with an irrational fear, a phobia of something you have never experienced? Have you ever found yourself repeating a self-destructive pattern, a cycle of failure or heartbreak, almost as if you are following an invisible script? You try to change. You set intentions, you apply willpower, but you find yourself drawn back into the familiar drama as if by an unseen gravitational pull. This is not a sign of your weakness or your failure. It is often the sign that you are carrying something that is not entirely yours. You are feeling an ancestral echo. Your personal Akashic record is not a standalone volume on the shelf of the great library. It is part of a collection, a series, bound together with the records of your parents, your grandparents, and the long, unbroken line of souls that led to your existence. We readily accept that we inherit physical traits. The color of our eyes from a grandmother, the shape of our hands from a father, a predisposition for certain physical conditions. Modern science is now beginning to understand, through the field of epigenetics, that we inherit far more. The experiences of our ancestors, especially intense traumas, can leave a chemical signature on their DNA, a mark that can be passed down through generations, influencing our health, our temperament, and our responses to stress. This is scientific language for an ancient spiritual truth. We inherit energy. We inherit unresolved emotional patterns. The unexpressed grief of a great-grandmother who lost a child, the constant, low-grade fear of a grandfather who survived a war, the deep-seated shame of an ancestor who experienced poverty or persecution. These powerful emotional energies do not simply vanish when a person dies. They become vibrational patterns, energetic signatures encoded within the family line, passed from one generation to the next, silently seeking resolution, healing, and release. Let us return to our metaphor of the river. Imagine your soul as a portion of a great river flowing to the sea. The water itself, your essential consciousness, is eternally pure, clear, and divine. However, this river has traveled through many landscapes to reach you. It has flowed through valleys of abundance and across deserts of scarcity. It has tumbled through the jagged rocks of war and violence, and it has been dammed up by eras of oppression and silence. As it travels, it picks up sediment. The memory of famine becomes a fine, gritty sediment of a not-enough mentality. The memory of war becomes a cold, heavy sediment of fear and mistrust. The memory of being silenced becomes a thick, muddy sediment of unexpressed anger and frustration. You are born into this life, and this is the water you find yourself in. You feel the grit of scarcity, the chill of fear, the mud of anger, and you believe it is who you are. You say, "I am an anxious person," or "I have always struggled with money." The first, most liberating step of healing is to realize you are not the sediment, you are the water, and you have arrived at a point in the river's journey where you have the unique ability to build a filtration system. This brings us to the core message, the shift from inner conflict to profound empowerment. It is easy to feel like a victim of this inheritance, to say, "It's in my genes, I can't help it," or "My family has always been this way, so I am doomed to repeat it." This is the voice of powerlessness. But the Akashic truth is the opposite. You are not the victim of your lineage, you are its hope. You are the one who chose to incarnate at this specific time, with the exact consciousness required to heal these ancient wounds. You are the point of transformation. Your awareness is the filtration system. By consciously working to heal your own anxiety, you are not just healing yourself. You are energetically resolving the trauma of the ancestor who first encoded that fear into your lineage. By learning to cultivate a sense of abundance and worth, you are retroactively healing the wounds of scarcity for those who came before you. By finding your voice and speaking your truth, you are liberating the spirits of all those in your line who were forced into silence. This is not a burden, it is a sacred honor. Your healing is the greatest gift you could ever give to those who came before you and those who will come after. You are the one they have been waiting for. To engage in this healing work, we can create a simple, powerful practice. This is not about complex ritual, but about sincere intention. Find a quiet time and space. Light a candle, not as a petition to an outside force, but as a symbol of the flame of your own consciousness, the light you are bringing to this work. Close your eyes, and in your heart, call to mind your lineage. You do not need to know their names or see their faces. Simply feel the presence of the long line of men and women standing behind you, a vast chain of being that resulted in the miracle of your life. First, begin with gratitude. Speaking aloud or in your mind, thank them. I thank you for the gift of my life. I thank you for your resilience, for your struggles, for every hardship you survived so that I could be here today. I acknowledge the strengths you have passed to me. Next, acknowledge the burden with compassion, not blame. Identify a pattern you are working with. For instance, I see the deep grief that was carried in our family line. I acknowledge the weight of this unspoken sadness. Oh, finally, with love and sovereignty, you consciously release it. With the deepest love and respect for your journey, I now release this pattern of grief. I release you from the need to carry it, and I release myself from the obligation to continue it. Your journey with this sorrow is complete. I choose to fill my being with peace, for myself and for all of you. It is done. Feel the truth of this declaration in your body. It is an act of profound love and liberation. As you perform this sacred act of healing, you are purifying the river. You are allowing the sediment of ages to settle, letting the water of your own consciousness run clear and bright. Having honored the great currents that flow from the past, the river that existed before you, you now turn the light of your awareness to your own stretch of the river. You look at the rocks and debris that have entered the stream during your own journey in this lifetime. How do you address the wounds that are uniquely yours? How do you begin to work with the painful narratives that you yourself have authored? You have stood at the head of your ancestral river, honoring the currents that came before, and consciously filtering the waters for yourself and your lineage. Now, with this clearer stream flowing through you, you turn your gaze inward to the terrain of your own life. You look upon the wounds that are uniquely yours. The betrayals, the failures, the losses, the moments of profound pain that have shaped your landscape. Society offers you a simple narrative for these wounds. They are damage, they are flaws, they are tragic events that have left you broken, things to be hidden, or at best overcome. But the Akashic perspective offers a radically different and infinitely more powerful view. It whispers that your pain is not a life sentence, it is a chapter, and you are the author, with the power to write the meaning of every single word. Consider the subtle, insidious process by which a painful event becomes an identity. An experience of abandonment occurs, and over time, it ceases to be something that happened to you. It becomes who you are. You are no longer a person who experienced abandonment. You are an abandoned person. A business fails, and you are no longer a person who experienced failure. You are a failure. A heart is broken, and you become the one who is unlucky in love. We do this because the human ego craves certainty, even the certainty of a painful story. A fixed identity, even a negative one, feels safer to the ego than the boundless, terrifying freedom of the unknown. The story of our wound gives us a script. It explains our fears, justifies our limitations, and can even garner sympathy and attention from others. There is a strange, secret comfort in being the survivor, a quiet validation in the story of our struggle. But the identity that once served as a shield, a way to make sense of chaos, eventually becomes a cage. It limits what we believe is possible for us, and it forces us to unconsciously seek out people and situations that will validate our painful story, keeping us trapped in a loop of reenactment. To break this cycle, we must embrace a new metaphor, a new vision for our wounds. In Japan, there is an ancient art form called kintsugi, which means to join with gold. When a beautiful piece of pottery is broken, it is not discarded. Instead, the pieces are carefully, lovingly reassembled, and the cracks are filled with a special lacquer mixed with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. The finished piece does not hide its history of being broken, it celebrates it. The golden seams become the most striking feature of the bowl, a shimmering testament to its journey. The bowl is considered more beautiful, more valuable, and stronger for having been broken and repaired with love and intention. This is the vision the universe holds for your wounds. Your heartbreaks, your failures, your deepest pains are the cracks in the vessel of your being. The Akashic path is not about pretending the cracks are not there. It is the art of kintsugi for the soul. It is the sacred work of filling those cracks with the liquid gold of your own awareness, your self-compassion, your forgiveness, and the wisdom you have gained. Your scars are not signs of damage. They are your golden seams. They are proof of your resilience, marks of your initiation into a deeper life. Here lies the core message of your power as the author. The facts of your past are immutable. They are neutral data points recorded in the energy of your Akashic record. What happened, happened. But the meaning you assign to those facts, The story you weave around them is entirely within your control. The narrative you tell yourself is the emotional and energetic charge you attach to the data, and this can be changed at any time. This is not about denial or toxic positivity. It is not about pretending a betrayal didn't hurt. The pain was real. The tears were real. You honor that. The alchemical act of rewriting the narrative is about stepping out of the role of the victim in the story and into the role of the hero. The victim asks, "Why did this happen to me?" The hero asks, "What did this experience allow me to become? What strength was forged in this fire? What wisdom was revealed in this darkness?" By consciously choosing to change the story, you are not changing the past. You are changing your relationship to it. You are transmuting the dense, heavy lead of pain into the shimmering gold of wisdom. And in doing so, you alter the very vibration of that event within your soul's record. You take back your power from the past and anchor it firmly in the present. Let us ground this alchemy in a tangible practice of sacred rewriting. Choose one painful story that you carry, one that feels like a heavy coat you wear every day. Find a quiet space, a pen, and paper. First, on one sheet of paper, write down the victim's version. Tell the old story exactly as you always have. Do not hold back. Write down who was wrong, how you were wronged, the injustice of it all, the pain it caused, and how it has limited you ever since. Empty it all out onto the page. When you are done, read it over. Feel its weight. Acknowledge it. This was a valid perspective. Now, take a deep breath. Fold that paper and set it aside. Take a fresh sheet. At the top, write a new title, something like The Hero's Journey or How I Found My Gold. Now, begin the story again, keeping the essential facts the same, but telling it from your new, empowered perspective as the alchemist of your own life. Ask yourself the powerful questions as you write. This event was incredibly painful, and it taught me the true meaning of resilience. This person betrayed my trust, and it forced me to learn how to trust my own intuition above all others. This failure broke my heart, and it broke my heart open to a depth of compassion I never knew I had. This experience brought me to my knees, and it was on my knees that I finally learned how to pray, how to surrender, how to find a strength that was not my own. When you have finished this new version, read it aloud to yourself. Feel the shift in your body. Feel the lightness, the expansion, the quiet pride. This new story is just as true as the old one, but it is infinitely more powerful. It is the story that will heal you. As you stand back and admire the golden seams of your newly repaired story, you notice that the threads of gold do not just touch the parts of your own life, they connect to others. The people who hurt you, the people you may have hurt, the souls who played a role in your dramas, their stories are interwoven with yours. This act of rewriting your personal narrative inevitably leads you to question the energetic dynamics between souls. This brings us to the universal law that governs these exchanges, the intricate and often misunderstood cosmic currency that ensures the universe is always seeking balance. It brings us to the law known as karma. As you mend the narrative of your own life, filling the cracks with the gold of wisdom, you become aware that your story is not a monologue. It is a dialogue, a complex play with a cast of many souls. The threads of your life are woven together with the threads of every person you have ever known, creating a vast and intricate tapestry. This realization brings us to a universal law that governs the very nature of these energetic threads, a principle as fundamental and as impersonal as gravity. It is the law that has come to be known as karma. Now, let us pause here, because this single word is one of the most misunderstood and feared concepts in the entire spiritual lexicon. For many, the word karma immediately conjures images of a cosmic judge, a stern, bearded figure in the sky keeping a meticulous tally of your good and bad deeds. It suggests a system of divine retribution, a universe waiting to punish you for your mistakes. If you do something wrong, something bad will inevitably happen to you. This fear-based interpretation has caused immense suffering. leading people to act out of a desire for heavenly reward or a terror of divine punishment, rather than from a place of genuine, heartfelt integrity. Let us, together, release this distorted, primitive understanding. Let us strip away the layers of fear and dogma and look at karma in its pure, original light, not as a law of punishment, but as the elegant, impartial law of balance, learning, and energetic cause and effect. Our fear of karma is a projection of our own human experience. As children, we learn from parents and teachers that good behavior is rewarded and bad behavior is punished. We then project this simplistic model onto the vast, intelligent, and infinitely compassionate canvas of the universe. We create a transactional relationship with the divine, a celestial economy of sin and merit. This is a product of the human ego's need to categorize, to judge, and to understand the world in terms of black and white. The universe, however, does not operate on the level of human judgment. It operates on the level of physics and energy. Karma is spiritual physics. It simply states that every action, every word, and even every thought is a cause that creates a corresponding effect. There is no anger or judgment behind it. It is as impersonal as the law that dictates that if you plant an apple seed, you will not get an orange tree. You will, without fail, get an apple tree. The universe is not punishing you with apples or rewarding you with apples. It is simply returning to you the nature of the energy you first put out. To understand this more deeply, we can use two metaphors. The first is that of a universal ledger. Imagine a vast, energetic accounting system that tracks every transaction in the cosmos. Every time you perform an act of genuine kindness, you make a deposit of positive, expansive energy into this ledger. Every time you consciously cause harm, you make a withdrawal, creating an energetic debt. The universe, in its innate drive for equilibrium, will always, eventually, seek to balance the books. This is not a moral imperative, it is a law of nature. An energetic vacuum must be filled. An energetic debt must be paid. The experiences that come to you in your life are often the universe's elegant way of balancing your account, of returning to you the very energy you have put out so that you can experience it, understand it, and learn from it. This leads to our second, more intimate metaphor, that of the soul's curriculum. Before you chose to incarnate into this life, your higher self, in its infinite wisdom, designed a curriculum of lessons it wished to master. Perhaps it wanted to master unconditional love, or deep courage, or profound patience, or unshakable self-worth. The law of karma, then, is the very mechanism that delivers your personalized curriculum. If your soul's chosen lesson is compassion, karma will unfailingly arrange for you to be in situations that demand you develop it. You might experience a lack of compassion from others, so you can know how it feels. You might be put in a position of power over someone vulnerable. The people who challenge you, the ones who seem to cause you the most pain, are often not your enemies. They are your most dedicated teachers. They are soulmates who, on a higher level, agreed to play a difficult role in your life, to push your buttons, to trigger your wounds, all so that you would have the perfect opportunity to learn the exact lesson you came here to learn. This perspective changes everything. It shifts us from the powerless position of a victim in a random, chaotic world to the empowered position of a student in a perfectly designed divine classroom. The challenges of your life are not punishments for past misdeeds. They are your assignments. They are the curriculum you yourself have chosen. The next time you face a difficult situation, the old fear-based question to ask is, what did I do to deserve this? This question is rooted in shame and victimhood. The new, empowered, karmic question to ask is, what is the lesson my soul is trying to learn here? What quality is this experience perfectly designed to evoke from within me? This question is rooted in curiosity, purpose, and self-responsibility. It removes the sting of cosmic injustice and replaces it with the profound recognition that even your greatest struggles are infused with sacred purpose. every effect is simply a mirror, reflecting your original cause back to you so that you can see yourself more clearly. Let us anchor this understanding in a practice of mindful creation. For the next 24 hours, see yourself as a conscious creator of karmic ripples. Before you speak, take a fraction of a second to check your intention. Am I about to speak from a place of love or from a place of fear? Is the purpose of my word to heal or to harm, to unite or to divide? Before you act, even in small ways, ask yourself, is this action coming from a place of generosity and expansion or from a place of scarcity and contraction? You will not be perfect at this. That is not the goal. The goal is the awareness itself. The simple act of asking the question begins to purify your intention. It makes you a conscious participant in the flow of karma rather than its unwitting subject. You begin to consciously plant the seeds of the garden you wish to live in. So you see now that karma is not a system of cosmic punishment designed to keep you in fear. It is the elegant, compassionate law of learning that guides your soul back to wholeness. It is the ledger that ensures balance and the curriculum that ensures growth. Understanding this, understanding that every interaction is a balancing of energy, a lesson in the making, a debit or a credit in the great ledger, a new question naturally arises. If karma is a system of energetic debts and contracts, what is the most powerful method we have for settling those accounts, for balancing the books, and for liberating not only ourselves, but others from these ancient energetic agreements? This brings us to the profound and deeply misunderstood power of a quantum act known as forgiveness. You have mended your stories with gold, and you have come to understand the elegant, impartial law of karma as a curriculum for your soul. You see that your life is an intricate web of energetic exchanges, a cosmic ledger of cause and effect. This leads you to a profound realization. You are not merely a subject of this law, you are an active participant, with the power to balance your own accounts. The single most powerful tool you possess for this sacred work, the master key that cancels karmic debt and liberates the soul from the chains of the past, is the quantum act of forgiveness. Let us first dismantle the myths that have made forgiveness seem like an impossible and even undesirable task. We are taught that to forgive is to condone, to say that what happened was acceptable. We are taught that it is an act of moral grace bestowed upon the perpetrator, something they may or may not deserve. We believe that our unforgiveness, our righteous anger, is a weapon we hold, a way of punishing the one who hurt us. We cling to our resentment as a shield, believing it keeps us safe from being hurt again. So we stand guard over our wounds, refusing to forgive, believing we are exercising power. In truth, we have built a prison around ourselves. The person we refuse to forgive may be living their life freely, perhaps not even thinking of us, while we remain shackled to the memory of the pain, drinking the poison of our own bitterness every single day, and somehow hoping they will feel its effects. The most profound secret of forgiveness is this: it has almost nothing to do with the other person. It is the ultimate act of self-love. It is a declaration of your own sovereignty. It is you deciding that you will no longer allow a past event to consume the energy of your present moment. Imagine that every unresolved hurt, every grudge you hold, is a heavy, jagged rock that you carry in a sack on your back. You haul this sack with you everywhere you go. It makes every step a struggle. It drains your vitality. It keeps your gaze fixed on the ground. You believe that by carrying these rocks, you are somehow proving the weight of the injustice you suffered, but you are the only one feeling the weight. Forgiveness is the conscious, deliberate act of stopping, opening the sack, and dropping the rocks, one by one. You do not do it for the rocks. You do not do it for the person who gave you the rocks. You do it for you because you are tired of carrying them. You want to walk freely. You want to lift your gaze to the horizon. Let us look at this from an energetic, Akashic perspective. When a traumatic or deeply painful event occurs between you and another person, an energetic cord is formed, connecting you to them. This cord is made of the intense emotional energy of the event, the anger, the fear, the shame, the betrayal. As long as you hold on to unforgiveness, you are actively feeding this cord with your attention and your life force. Every time you replay the painful memory, you send a surge of energy down this cord. Every time you indulge in thoughts of anger or revenge, you thicken and strengthen the cord. It becomes a psychic drain, keeping you energetically tethered to the person and the moment that caused you pain, preventing you from ever truly moving forward. Forgiveness, in this context, is not an emotional process. It is a quantum, energetic procedure. It is the act of taking up the sword of your sovereign will and cleanly severing this cord, reclaiming your energy and your freedom. Think back to the universal ledger. A harm was done, creating a karmic debt. The other person is the debtor. You are the creditor. As long as you demand payment in the form of an apology, remorse, or punishment, you keep the account active. You are the creditor who spends all their time chasing the debt, checking the books, consumed by the injustice of the unpaid bill. The energy of the debt dominates your life. Forgiveness is the ultimate act of the empowered creditor. It is you looking at the ledger, acknowledging the debt, and then, out of a profound desire for your own peace, stamping the account canceled. You consciously choose to release the other person from the energetic obligation. You are not saying the debt was never real. You are saying that you are no longer willing to invest your life force in trying to collect it. You are closing the books on that transaction so you can invest your precious energy in creating new, beautiful, and abundant experiences for yourself. It is crucial to understand that forgiveness is not reconciliation. It does not mean you must trust the person again. It does not mean you have to allow them back into your life. It does not even mean you have to tell them you have forgiven them. It is a completely internal transaction. You can forgive someone entirely and still, from a place of wisdom and self-protection, choose to have strong boundaries and never see them again. Forgiveness is about your inner state, not about your outer relationship. It is about cleansing your own energetic field, not about absolving them of their actions. Their karma, their lessons, their journey is between them and the universe. Your freedom is your own sacred responsibility. Let us now anchor this in a powerful healing practice. Find a time when you can be undisturbed. Sit quietly and comfortably. Close your eyes. Bring to mind a person or situation toward which you are holding unforgiveness. Do not start with your biggest, most traumatic wound. Start with something smaller, a rock instead of a boulder. Allow yourself to feel the emotions connected to this person. Let the anger, the hurt, the frustration, the sadness rise to the surface. Do not judge these feelings or push them away. Simply acknowledge them with compassion. Say to yourself, I acknowledge this pain. It is real and it deserves to be seen. Now, visualize an energetic cord extending from your body perhaps, from your heart or your stomach and connecting to this other person. See its color, its texture, feel its heavy, draining vibration. Recognize that this is the channel through which your life force is leaking away to the past. Now, gather your intention. This is an act of power. Say, either aloud or in the sanctuary of your own mind, these or similar words. I acknowledge the pain that was created between us. I see the role we both played in this karmic dance. For the sake of my own soul's freedom, for the peace of my own heart, I now choose to end this contract. I release you from this energetic debt. I release myself from the burden of carrying it. I forgive you, and I forgive myself. I cut this cord. Now, as you say this, visualize a brilliant sword of violet light or a pair of golden scissors appearing in your hand. With one clean, decisive motion, see it severing the cord. Watch as the two ends snap back instantly. See the other person's end vanish into the distance. Now, focus entirely on your end of the cord. See it retracting back into your body, and as it does, visualize a beautiful, golden light, the light of your own higher self, sealing the wound completely, filling your entire being with warmth, wholeness, and peace. Breathe and feel the lightness. Feel the return of your own energy. You have just performed a quantum act of healing. You are the librarian, the author, the alchemist. You have filtered the ancestral waters, rewritten your painful narratives with gold, and now you hold the power to cancel the karmic debts that have bound you. Having cleared away so much of the energetic debris of the past, you feel a new sense of space and clarity opening within you. The question that naturally arises is, what is this inner space? What is this quiet, sacred sanctum from which all this powerful healing work is best performed? This brings us to the very source of all creation and connection, the profound, world-altering power of the sacred pause. You have walked the courageous path of healing. You have rewritten your painful stories with threads of gold and balanced the karmic ledger through the quantum act of forgiveness. A new spaciousness has begun to open within you, a sense of lightness and freedom from the heavy burdens of the past. The question that now arises is a gentle one. In what sanctuary is this profound work best done? Where is the inner sanctum, the Holy of Holies, where the soul's deepest truths are revealed? The answer is not a place you must travel to, nor a state you must struggle to achieve. It is a space you must simply allow. It is the often ignored, deeply feared, and infinitely powerful space of the sacred pause. Our modern world is built on a foundation of noise and relentless motion. We live in what could be called the cult of busyness. Our value is measured by our productivity. Our schedules are badges of honor, and our minds are perpetually saturated with information, entertainment, and distraction. We have become terrified of silence. We are afraid of stillness. Why? Because when the outer noise stops, the inner noise begins. When we stop doing, we are forced to start being. And in the space of pure being, we must finally face ourselves. The unresolved feelings we have been running from begin to surface. The deep, existential questions we have successfully ignored start to whisper from the corners of our consciousness. The quiet dissatisfaction with a life that is not aligned with our soul's purpose makes its presence felt. Our addiction to doing, to checking our phones, to planning our next move, to consuming endless content is not a sign of our importance. It is a sophisticated and socially sanctioned strategy of avoidance. We are running from the vast, silent, and all-knowing presence that resides at the very center of our being. To understand the power of the pause, we must look to the nature of creation itself. A piece of music is not just the notes. Its beauty, its emotion, its power comes from the silence between the notes. The rests and pauses give the music its rhythm, its meaning, its heartbeat. Without the silence, music would be an unbearable wall of noise. A powerful speech is not just the words. It is the intentional pauses between the words that allow their meaning to land, to resonate, to change the listener. Without the space, language is just an indecipherable stream of sounds. Consider a lake. It can only reflect the magnificent, boundless expanse of the sky when its surface is perfectly still. The slightest ripple, the gentlest breeze, shatters the reflection into 1,000 distorted fragments. Your mind is this lake. The wisdom of the Akashic Records, the consciousness of the universe, is the sky. It is always there, vast and waiting. But you can only receive a clear reflection when you allow the surface of your mind to become still. Stillness is the prerequisite for clear perception. This brings us to the core message, a truth that runs counter to everything our achievement-oriented society has taught us. The gateway to your inner library, the portal to your deepest wisdom, is not found through effort. You cannot try harder to connect. You cannot force a spiritual experience. You cannot figure out the Akashic Records with your intellect. The path is not one of exertion, but of surrender. It is a journey of undoing. It is the conscious choice to let go of the need to control, the need to know, the need to make something happen. The sacred pause is this act of surrender. It is a moment of profound trust, where you release your white-knuckled grip on the steering wheel of your life and allow the universe to reveal its grace. In the moment you truly stop, you create a vacuum, a sacred emptiness, and the wisdom of the universe, which is always present and always pressing in on you, joyfully rushes in to fill that space. The pause is not emptiness, it is the plenum, it is the fertile void, it is the dark, silent soil in the dead of winter, where the seed of a great oak is gathering its strength in unseen, silent potency. You do not need to retreat to a monastery for a month to find this space. The beauty of the sacred pause is that it is available to you in any moment, no matter how busy or chaotic your life may be. The practice is one of microdosing stillness. It is about weaving tiny moments of non-action into the fabric of your day. When the phone rings, let it ring twice before you answer. In that 1-second pause, take a single conscious breath. You have just broken the spell of unconscious reaction. After you park your car, before you unbuckle your seatbelt and open the door, just sit. For 5 seconds, feel the texture of the steering wheel, hear the ticking of the cooling engine. Be present in the transition. Before you take the first bite of your meal, pause. Simply look at the food on your plate for 3 seconds. Acknowledge the life force it contains that will soon become your own. These are not grand, time-consuming gestures. They are tiny, revolutionary acts of pattern interruption. Each micro-pause is a crack you create in the armor of your compulsive ego, an opening that allows the light of your awareness to shine through. Each pause is a moment where you are declaring to the universe, I am here, I am present, I am available to receive. When you practice this, you begin to change your relationship with time and with yourself. You are no longer a slave to momentum, rushing unconsciously from one task to the next. You become the master of your own attention. You discover that in the space between stimulus and response, you have a choice. You can choose to respond from a place of peace, rather than react from a place of pressure. You begin to notice the subtle whispers of your intuition, the quiet guidance of your soul, which was always there but was simply being drowned out by the noise of constant doing. The sacred pause is the act of turning down the volume of the world, so you can finally hear the music of your own being. It is the most direct path back to yourself. So the gateway to your inner library is not a magnificent, ornate door that requires a secret password. It is the simple, humble, and ever-present space of stillness that you carry within you at all times. It is the silence that cradles every sound. It is the stillness that underpins all motion. In the profound quiet of the sacred pause, when the frantic chatter of the egoic mind finally recedes and you have the courage to simply be, you begin to perceive something new. It is not a thought. It is not an emotion. It is a hum. It is a frequency. It is a current of energy that is uniquely, unmistakably you. This is the discovery of your own energetic essence, the fundamental note your soul plays in the grand symphony of the cosmos. This is your vibrational signature. In the profound stillness of the sacred pause, when the clamor of the world fades away, you begin to perceive it. It is not a thought, nor an image. It is a feeling, a hum, a resonance at the very core of your being. This is the fundamental frequency of you. This is your soul's eternal note in the symphony of creation. It is your vibrational signature. To understand this is to move beyond the illusion that you are merely a solid, physical body, a collection of bone and tissue. The deepest truth of your existence, confirmed by the mystics of ages and the quantum physicists of today, is that you are energy. You are a dynamic, shimmering field of consciousness, a living broadcast of vibration. Let us explore the deep human pain that arises when we live in opposition to this truth. Consider the feeling of inauthenticity, the exhausting labor of wearing a mask. We all know this feeling. We wear the mask of the good employee, suppressing our creative ideas to conform to the status quo. We wear the mask of the perfect parent, hiding our exhaustion and our fears behind a facade of endless patience. We wear the mask of the strong, capable friend, never admitting our own vulnerability or our need for support. We create these personas for survival, to gain the approval, acceptance, and love we so desperately crave. But the price we pay for this perceived safety is our own soul. Every time we act in a way that is out of tune with our core frequency, we create a state of inner dissonance. It is a jarring, uncomfortable feeling, a subtle but persistent sense of being a fraud in our own lives. This dissonance is the source of a profound and painful loneliness, the quiet fear that if people knew the real us, the person behind the mask, they would surely reject us. We long for authentic connection, but we cannot experience it as long as we are broadcasting a false signal. Your vibrational signature is the most honest thing about you. It is your energetic fingerprint, an intricate and unique pattern that is yours alone in all of creation. It is not static. It is a living, breathing field that is the sum total of your entire state of being at any given moment. It is composed of the frequency of your dominant thoughts, the texture of your prevailing emotions, the depth of your core beliefs, and the overall climate of your inner world. If your mind is a constant loop of worried thoughts, that frequency of anxiety is a major component of your signature. If your heart is filled with gratitude, that expansive, warm frequency radiates from you as a defining characteristic. If you hold a deep, unconscious belief that you are not worthy of love, that dense, contractive belief is a powerful part of the signal you are sending out. Your vibrational signature is what you are broadcasting to the universe, 24 hours a day. It is your true name, written not in letters, but in the universal language of energy. Here we arrive at a pivotal understanding. Your state of being is your most powerful prayer. The universe, the Akashic field, does not primarily respond to the words you speak or the fleeting wishes you entertain. It responds to the steady, consistent, and honest frequency of your vibrational signature. You can repeat affirmations of abundance all day long, but if your underlying dominant vibration is one of scarcity and fear, the universe will hear the fear, not the words. The universe doesn't hear what you say you want. It faithfully reflects back to you what your energy declares you are. To live a life of alignment, joy, and purpose is therefore the sacred work of bringing your outer world, your words, your actions, your choices into harmony with the true frequency of your soul. It is the work of closing the gap between the mask and the truth, of making your inner reality and your outer expression one coherent, beautiful, and powerful broadcast. This is not a passive process. You are not a victim of your own vibration. You are the conductor of your own energetic orchestra. You have the power to consciously tune your instrument. This begins with the simple, compassionate practice of a vibrational check-in. Several times throughout your day, simply pause. Take one deep breath to break the momentum of your thoughts. Ask yourself, with genuine, non-judgmental curiosity, what is my current vibrational state? And then, just name it. Right now, I am vibrating with frantic energy. Right now, my frequency is one of heavy resentment. Right now, I am in a state of quiet, peaceful gratitude. There is no right or wrong answer. The goal is simply awareness. To name the frequency is to bring it from the unconscious into the light of your consciousness. Once you have named it, ask a second, gentle question. Can I make one small, loving shift? You are not trying to force yourself from despair into bliss. You are simply choosing to introduce a new, more harmonious note into your own field. Perhaps you can shift your frequency by recalling a memory that makes you smile. Perhaps you can listen to a piece of music that you know uplifts your spirit. Perhaps you can step outside and feel the sun on your face for 30 seconds. Perhaps you can simply look around the room and find one object, one color, one small thing to be genuinely grateful for. Each of these small acts is a conscious tuning of your instrument. You are learning, moment by moment, to be the master of your own energetic state. As you become more adept at this practice, you realize that you are not a solid, fixed object moving through a neutral world. You are a living broadcasting station, a center of creation, constantly sending out a signal that shapes the reality you experience. Your vibrational signature is the invisible force that orchestrates the dance of your life, the subtle magnet that draws people, situations, and experiences to you that are a perfect match for your inner state. You are the source of the signal. You are the tuner of the instrument. You are the artist, and your energy is your paint. You are learning to consciously create the masterpiece of your life from the inside out. And so you stand, a living, breathing field of energy, broadcasting your unique and beautiful signature into the cosmos with every thought, every feeling, every breath. You are no longer an unconscious transmitter, but a conscious creator, learning to fine-tune the music of your own soul. The next question, then, is an inevitable and exciting one. What happens when the frequency you broadcast meets the frequencies of the world around you? How does your inner state interact with the outer world to create your reality? This brings us to the very heart of manifestation, the universal principle of resonance that is known as the law of attraction. You are a living broadcast, a vibrant field of energy, sending your unique signature out into the cosmos. You are learning to be the conscious tuner of this sacred instrument. The inevitable question that follows is, what happens when this signal you broadcast interacts with the world? This brings us to one of the most popular and yet profoundly misunderstood spiritual principles of our time, the law of attraction. For many, this law has been presented as a kind of cosmic vending machine. If you just think positively enough, create a detailed vision board, and repeat your affirmations with enough feeling, the universe will be obligated to deliver the car, the soulmate, the perfect job, right to your doorstep. This has led to a great deal of frustration, disappointment, and self-blame. When the desired object or outcome does not appear, the immediate conclusion is, I must be doing it wrong. My vibration isn't high enough. I must have some hidden block. This turns a beautiful spiritual law into another stick with which to beat ourselves, another metric by which we can judge ourselves a failure. This entire approach is born from a fundamental misunderstanding of the law itself. The frustration comes from focusing on the getting of the thing, which only reinforces the painful reality that you do not yet have it. Let us reframe this entire concept, elevating it from a desire-based transaction to a profound principle of energetic resonance with the Akashic field. Here is the most important truth to understand. The law of attraction is a secondary law. The primary, foundational law is the law of vibration. You do not attract what you want. You do not even attract what you believe. You attract what you are. You attract that which you are in vibrational harmony with. Your reality is a perfect, non-judgmental mirror of your own vibrational signature. To understand this, let us use the metaphor of a cosmic radio. Imagine the Akashic field is like the air around you, already filled with an infinite number of radio stations, each one broadcasting on a specific frequency. There is a station that is constantly broadcasting the music of joyful, loving relationships. There is another station broadcasting the static of financial scarcity and worry. There is a station broadcasting the clear, inspiring frequency of creative fulfillment. All of these stations, and countless others, are playing right now. They are all available as potentials within the field. Your vibrational signature, the sum total of your being, is your radio receiver. Your job is not to try and create a new radio station from scratch. Your job is not to shout at the radio, demanding that the scarcity station start playing the song of abundance. That is an act of futility and frustration. Your sole responsibility is to work on your own receiver. It is to lovingly, patiently, and consciously turn the dial of your own being, your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs until its frequency matches the frequency of the station you wish to listen to. When your frequency aligns with the frequency of the abundance station, its music, its reality, will effortlessly and naturally flow into your experience. This is the law of attraction. It is not an act of acquisition. It is an act of alignment. So, the work is not outside of you. It is entirely inside of you. If you wish to experience a loving partnership, The work is not to obsess over finding the perfect person. The work is to become a person who is a vibrational match to a loving partnership. It is to cultivate such a deep and powerful love for yourself that you are already whole. It is to generate feelings of joy, connection, and gratitude in your life now, so that your signature is broadcasting the very music of love. Then, a person who is also tuned to that station will naturally resonate with you and enter your experience. If you want to experience financial abundance, the work is not to focus on the lack of money. The work is to cultivate the feeling of abundance, security, and generosity in your being right now, to feel deep gratitude for what you already have, to operate from a place of trust in the universe's provision. You must become the frequency before you can receive the broadcast. Manifestation is not the goal. It is the natural, inevitable byproduct of your own state of being. This is why simply thinking positive often fails. Your vibrational signature is much deeper than your surface thoughts. It is the ocean of your subconscious beliefs and your prevailing emotional state. You can try to float a thin layer of positive thoughts on the surface, but if the deep currents of your being are flowing with beliefs of unworthiness and emotions of fear, it is the deep currents that have the real power. The universe responds to the whole ocean, not just the shimmering surface. The real work is to dive into your own ocean, to heal the limiting beliefs, to feel and release the trapped emotions, and to fundamentally change the deep currents of your being. It is about becoming so authentically aligned with the feeling of joy, peace, or abundance that your entire signature, from the surface to the depths, is broadcasting one coherent and powerful signal. Let us anchor this in a practice that shifts the focus from getting to being. It is a visualization of embodiment. Choose one reality you wish to experience. Let us say it is one of vibrant health and energy. Now, instead of visualizing yourself running a marathon or looking a certain way in the mirror, which are external results, you are going to visualize the feeling of being that person. Sit quietly, close your eyes. Ask yourself, what is the state of being of a person who is full of vibrant health and energy? The answers might be joyful, free, light, powerful, grateful for their body, at peace. Now, for 5 minutes, practice embodying those feelings. Generate the feeling of lightness in your cells right now. Imagine the sensation of freedom and ease in your joints right now. Cultivate a feeling of deep gratitude for your body, exactly as it is, right now. Walk around the room as that person would walk. Breathe as that person would breathe. You are not pretending. You are practicing. You are rehearsing the frequency. You are consciously turning your own dial to match the station of vibrant health that is already broadcasting in the Akashic field. You are becoming a vibrational match to the reality you choose. As you learn to consciously tune your own frequency, aligning your state of being with the realities you wish to experience, you begin to see the world around you in a new light. You realize that the universe is constantly providing you with feedback, showing you exactly what station you are tuned to. And its primary method for giving you this feedback, for showing you a perfect reflection of your own broadcast, is through the people it brings into your life. Every person who enters your experience, from the brief encounter with a cashier to the deep intimacy of a lifelong partner, is a mirror. They are, without exception, a vibrational match to some aspect of your own signature. This brings us to the profound and sometimes deeply challenging lessons to be found in the sacred mirror of relationships. As you learn to consciously tune the frequency of your being, you become aware that the universe is in constant communication with you. It is a living, intelligent field, providing you with perfect, moment-to-moment feedback on the nature of your own broadcast. Its primary and most potent method for delivering this feedback is through the people who populate your life. Every human being you interact with, from the fleeting stranger to the intimate partner, is a mirror. They are, without exception, a vibrational match to some aspect of you, sent to reflect your own consciousness back to you so that you can see yourself more clearly. This is one of the most confronting and ultimately liberating truths on the spiritual path. The default state of the human ego is to see the world through the lens of projection and blame. When we feel an uncomfortable emotion in the presence of another, our immediate, instinctual reaction is to hold them responsible. "You made me angry. She hurt my feelings. His arrogance is unbearable." In this model, the other person is the source of our emotional experience. But this is an illusion. Let us use the metaphor of a film projector. Your consciousness, with its entire history, its unhealed wounds, its core beliefs, and its current vibrational state, is the projector. The film running through it is your personal story. The other person is simply a blank screen. When you interact with them, your projector casts your inner movie onto the screen of their being. You then react with anger, sadness, or joy to the image you see on the screen, believing the image originated from the screen itself. You have forgotten that the film is running inside of you. The other person is not the cause of your feelings. They are the activator of a feeling that already existed as a potential within you. Their words or actions simply pushed the play button on a movie that was already loaded in your projector. This is a crucial distinction. Others are responsible for their behavior. You are responsible for your reaction. Acknowledging this does not excuse harmful actions. It simply takes back your power. As long as you believe someone else has the power to make you feel a certain way, you are their emotional puppet. You have given them the strings to your own heart. The path to sovereignty is to reclaim those strings, to realize that while you cannot control the screens that appear before you, you have absolute power over the film that runs in your own projector. Life, from this perspective, is a grand hall of mirrors. Each person you encounter reflects a different angle of your own being. Let us look into a few of these mirrors. First, there is the mirror of admiration. When you meet someone and feel a deep sense of respect and admiration for their qualities, perhaps their courage, their wisdom, their kindness, or their creativity, you are looking into a mirror of your own potential. The reason you can recognize those beautiful qualities in them is because they also exist within you, perhaps as dormant seeds waiting for your attention to make them grow. They are not better than you. They are simply reflecting the light that is also yours. Their presence is a gift, a reminder of the magnificent being you are capable of becoming. Then, there is the irritating mirror. These are the people who trigger us in smaller ways. Their habits annoy us, their opinions grate on us, their personality quirks drive us to distraction. Very often, the things that irritate us most in others are our own shadow traits. They are the aspects of ourselves that we possess but have denied, repressed, and refused to acknowledge. We judge them harshly in another person because we are terrified of owning them in ourselves. Does their perceived laziness trigger you because you deny your own deep need for rest and are constantly pushing yourself? Does their need for attention trigger you because you refuse to acknowledge your own desire to be seen and validated? The irritating mirror is a precious gift, for it points directly to the parts of ourselves we have disowned. By integrating these shadow aspects with compassion, we become more whole. Finally, there is the shattered mirror. These are the most difficult and most powerful relationships. These are the people who trigger our deepest, most painful wounds. The partner who betrays us, reflecting our core wound of abandonment. The boss who dismisses us, reflecting our deep-seated fear of being worthless. The friend who rejects us, reflecting our terror of not being lovable. These people are our greatest teachers, disguised as our greatest adversaries. They are divine messengers, sent by our own soul to show us exactly where our kintsugi gold is needed. They are not the cause of the original crack in our soul's vessel, but their role is to tap on it so loudly and so painfully that we can no longer ignore it. Their purpose in our lives, from a soul perspective, is to force us into the sacred work of our own healing. To despise the messenger is to miss the message entirely. This leads to the core teaching of this lesson. The path of mastery is to learn to be grateful for the message, no matter how difficult the messenger. This does not mean you must condone hurtful behavior. It does not mean you must become a doormat. It means shifting your inner inquiry from blame to self-responsibility. It is the heroic shift from asking, "How could you do this to me?" to asking, "What is your presence in my life revealing to me about myself?" The moment you can genuinely ask this question, you have taken back your power. You have stepped out of the role of the victim and into the role of the conscious student. You extract the wisdom from the pain, and in doing so, you dissolve the negative energetic charge of the interaction. The ultimate act of spiritual maturity is to be able to look at the person who has caused you the most pain and, on a soul level, understand their role with a quiet, inner gratitude, recognizing them as the catalyst who forced you to become the stronger, wiser, more compassionate version of yourself. Let us anchor this in a practice of radical self-inquiry. The next time you feel a strong negative emotional charge towards someone, pause. Instead of immediately reacting or blaming, become a compassionate detective of your own inner world. First, name the feeling. I am feeling intense anger. I am feeling deep sadness. Second, identify the trigger. What specific quality or action in this person is activating this feeling in me? Be precise. Is it their tone of voice, their perceived arrogance, their lack of consideration? Third, and this is the crucial step, turn the mirror upon yourself with courageous honesty. Ask, where does a version of this same quality exist in me? Or, if that doesn't resonate, ask, what old, unhealed wound inside of me is this person's behavior poking? For example, their arrogance is triggering me because it activates my own deep-seated insecurity and feeling of not being good enough. See, the issue is not their arrogance. The issue is your insecurity, which was there long before they arrived. They are merely the spotlight. Finally, ask the healing question. What is this situation inviting me to give to myself? The answer is almost always the very thing you wish they would give you. If you feel dismissed, the invitation is to give yourself validation and honor your own voice. If you feel criticized, the invitation is to give yourself unconditional self-acceptance. When you truly begin to see every person and every situation as a mirror, flawlessly reflecting your own inner state back to you, the entire game of life changes. The heavy, toxic energy of blame begins to dissolve, replaced by a sense of curiosity and wonder. You realize that you are not a passive bystander to whom life just happens. You are the center of a responsive, intelligent universe that is constantly conspiring to show you yourself. This profound shift in perception is the final key that moves you from a place of powerlessness to one of creation, from the role of the helpless victim to that of the conscious architect. You have walked through the great hall of mirrors that is your life, recognizing that every person, every situation is a reflection of your own inner state. As you absorb this truth, the very foundation of blame and resentment begins to crumble. At the sight of this crumbling foundation, you arrive at a fundamental crossroads, a choice point that will define the entire trajectory of your soul's journey from this moment forward. It is the choice between two distinct identities, two ways of perceiving all of reality. It is the choice to continue as the victim or to awaken as the architect. Let us first examine with great compassion the consciousness of the victim. This is the default setting for much of humanity. Through this lens, life is something that happens to you. You are a small, fragile boat tossed about on the vast, unpredictable ocean of circumstance. External forces, other people, the government, the economy, your past, your genetics, the winds and the waves that determine your course. You are at their mercy. This mindset, while appearing powerless, offers a subtle and seductive psychological comfort. It absolves you of responsibility. If your unhappiness is someone else's fault, you do not have to undertake the difficult, often painful work of inner change. If you are a victim of your circumstances, you are justified in your complaint, in your anger, in your inaction. Victimhood can even become a core part of one's identity, a way to garner sympathy. to feel morally superior to one's perceived oppressors, and to form bonds with other victims. But the ultimate price for this perceived safety is your freedom, your power, and your joy. To live as a victim is to be a pawn in a game you believe you cannot win, forever reacting to the moves of others, never making your own. Now, let us turn to the path of the architect. The architect understands the profound truth that life does not happen to you. It happens through you and for you. The architect knows that while they may not control every event, they are the sole creator of their experience of those events. They are the weaver at the loom. Your consciousness is the grand loom itself. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your core wounds, and your highest aspirations are the threads of myriad colors and textures. Your attention is the shuttle, flying back and forth, weaving these threads together into the tapestry of your reality. From the victim's perspective, you are just one thread, helplessly woven into a pattern you did not choose. From the architect's perspective, you are the weaver. You choose which threads to emphasize. You choose the pattern. You can take the dark, heavy threads of past pain and weave them into a background that makes the golden threads of your wisdom shine even more brightly. You can take the vibrant threads of joy and make them the central motif of your creation. You do not deny the existence of the difficult threads, but you are no longer defined by them. You are the artist, and the circumstances of your life are your raw materials. The entire monumental shift from the consciousness of the victim to the consciousness of the architect can be distilled into the transformation of a single question. The victim's life is governed by a disempowering, perpetually looping question: why is this happening to me? This question is a prison. It presupposes an external attacker and a helpless self. It looks for someone or something to blame, and its only possible answers are resentment, self-pity, and despair. It is a question that seeks to assign fault, not to create solutions. It keeps you forever anchored in the past, forever defined by the wound. The architect, upon facing the very same challenging circumstance, asks a completely different and infinitely more powerful question. The architect asks, what is this situation revealing for me? Or even more profoundly, how am I, on a soul level, co-creating this experience as the perfect opportunity for my own growth and learning? Do you feel the monumental shift in energy? This question assumes that life is not a random assault, but a purposeful, intelligent dance. It assumes you are not a helpless pawn, but a co-creator in partnership with the universe. It immediately dissolves the energy of blame and replaces it with curiosity. It transforms every obstacle from a cruel punishment into a sacred curriculum. It reclaims your power from the past and focuses it squarely on the potential for wisdom and expansion in the present moment. This single change in your primary inquiry is the key that unlocks the door of the victim's prison and ushers you into the open, expansive field of creation. To anchor this shift in your daily life, you can begin a simple but transformative practice of adopting a creator's language. For one full day, become a vigilant observer of your own words, both the ones you speak aloud and the ones you whisper to yourself in the privacy of your mind. Notice how often you use the language of the victim. Victim language sounds like, I have to go to work. My boss makes me so stressed. I can't be happy because my partner is so negative. I'm stuck in this situation. This language is passive, reactive, and places all power outside of yourself. Now, consciously rephrase these statements using the language of the architect. I choose to go to work because I value supporting myself and my family. I am allowing myself to feel stressed in response to my boss's behavior, and I am choosing to find ways to manage that feeling. I am creating my own happiness, regardless of my partner's mood. I am currently in this situation, and I am exploring my options for creating a change. This is not about pretending or lying to yourself. It is about telling a more accurate, more empowered truth. You are always at choice. Even in the most difficult circumstances, you have the sovereign power to choose your response your perspective, and the meaning you assign to the event. Using a creator's language is a powerful way to reprogram your subconscious mind, training it to seek solutions instead of blame, and to see your own power in every situation. You are not a thread in the tapestry. You are the weaver. You are not a character in a story written by fate. You are the author. You are not a resident of a house built by circumstance. You are the architect. As you fully step into this realization, you feel the ground solid beneath your feet for the first time. The winds of circumstance may still blow, but you are no longer a rudderless ship. You are the captain at the helm, charting your own course, knowing that even the fiercest storms can be navigated and contain precious lessons. This newfound power comes with a new and wonderful level of responsibility. For as you stand before the blueprint of your life, you realize that the quality of your creation will depend entirely on the quality of your vision and the precision of your tools. The most fundamental tool you will ever use in this creative process is the power of your own inquiry. To build a magnificent life, you must now learn to move beyond simple questions and begin to ask the deep, resonant, and courageous questions that have the power to shape destinies. You stand now in your full power as the architect of your reality, the weaver of your own life's tapestry. You have moved beyond blame, beyond victimhood, and have claimed your role as the central creative force in your universe. With this great power comes the need for great precision, and the most fundamental tool of any creator is the power of inquiry. The quality of the life you build will be a direct reflection of the quality of the questions you dare to ask. It is time now to move beyond the shallow inquiries of the fearful mind and learn the art of asking the deep, courageous questions that echo in the halls of your soul. For most of our lives, our questions are born from fear. We are driven by a desperate need for certainty in a world that is inherently uncertain. We approach the universe like a nervous student approaching a stern teacher, terrified of getting the answer wrong. Our questions sound like this: what should I do with my life? Am I making the right decision? When will I finally find happiness? Is this the person I am supposed to be with? Do you hear the undertone of anxiety in these questions? They all presuppose that there is one single correct path, one right answer hidden somewhere out there, and our life is a high-stakes treasure hunt to find it before it's too late. This belief sends us on an endless external search. We consult experts, we take personality tests, we seek out psychics and oracles, all in the hope that someone else will give us the instruction manual for our own lives. This frantic search for answers only reinforces the disempowering belief that the wisdom we need is not already present within us. Let us introduce a new metaphor to guide us. The anxious search for quick answers is like frantically digging for water in a desert. It is an act of effort, struggle, and desperation. You dig hole after hole under the hot sun, convinced that the water is just a little deeper, a little further over there. You exhaust your energy, your hope dwindling with every dry hole you dig. This is the path of seeking a specific outcome, of demanding a singular answer from a universe you believe is withholding it. Now consider a different approach. The path of asking deep, courageous questions is not about digging. It is about building a rain catcher. It is the patient, loving work of creating a wide, deep, and beautifully receptive vessel within your own consciousness. You are not frantically searching for water. You are creating the perfect conditions to receive the rain. You understand that the sky, the vastness of the Akashic field, already holds all the water, all the wisdom you could ever need. Your job is not to force it from the ground, but to make yourself a worthy vessel. You shape this vessel with the quality of your questions, and then you sit in patient trust, knowing that the rains will come in their own time, gently filling your being with life-giving insight. The shift from digging to rain catching is the shift from shallow questions to potent questions. A shallow question seeks a fact. A potent question invites an experience. A shallow question seeks a destination. A potent question illuminates the path. A shallow question comes from the anxious mind. A potent question resonates with the calm, knowing soul. Let us look at how we can transform our inquiries. Instead of asking, "What should I do with my life?" a question that can induce paralysis, you can ask the potent question, "What is my soul yearning to express through me in this season of my life?" This question doesn't demand a 50-year plan. It gently inquires about the next authentic step. It honors that your purpose may be a flowing river, not a fixed monument. Instead of asking, "Is this the right person for me?" a question that seeks an impossible guarantee, you can ask the potent question, "Who do I become when I am with this person? Am I inspired to be more of myself, or do I find myself shrinking?" This shifts the focus from judging them to observing yourself, which is where all true power lies. Instead of asking, "When will I finally be happy?" a question that postpones joy to an imaginary future, you can ask the potent question, "What is the one belief I am holding on to right now that is preventing me from accessing the ocean of peace that is already within me?" This brings the search for happiness out of the future and into the only moment where it can actually be found, the present. A potent question is a portal. It does not have a simple yes or no answer that can be looked up in a book. It is an open-ended exploration. It is a key that unlocks deeper levels of self-awareness. When you hold a potent question in your heart, you are signaling to the universe that you are ready for a deeper truth. You are ready to move beyond the simple answers that satisfy the ego and are prepared to receive the profound wisdom that nourishes the soul. The universe does not just give you information. It responds to the sacred open space that your powerful question has created. This leads us to a new form of meditation, a practice not of emptying the mind, but of filling it with a sacred inquiry. Choose one potent question that resonates deeply with you at this time in your life. Perhaps it is, "What is ready to be healed in me now?" Or, "What does it mean to live this day with courage?" Or, "Who would I be if I was no longer afraid?" Find your quiet space. Let your body settle. And instead of trying to silence your thoughts, gently introduce your chosen question into the field of your awareness. Hold it there lightly, like you would hold a delicate butterfly in your cupped hands. Do not analyze it. Do not chase after an answer with your logical mind. Simply be with the question. Let it marinate in the silence of your being. Place it like a sacred offering upon the altar of your heart, and trust. The answer may not come as a sentence in your head. It may come as a feeling. It may come as a sudden insight later in the day. It may come in the form of a dream or a synchronistic event. By holding the question with patient reverence, you have planted a powerful seed, and you must trust the mysterious and beautiful process by which it will grow. As you learn to ask these deeper, more courageous questions, you transform your entire relationship with life. You cease to be a frantic seeker of answers and become a patient cultivator of wisdom. You fall in love with the beauty of the questions themselves, recognizing that they are far more valuable than any easy answer could ever be. You, the architect, now understand that your potent questions are the sacred blueprints for the magnificent life you are building. This realization of your power as the inquirer and the creator naturally leads you to the next phase of the process, the conscious and deliberate act of taking the wisdom you have received and using it to plant the seeds for the future you wish to inhabit. You stand as the architect, the weaver, the empowered center of your own universe. You have learned to ask the potent questions that serve as the sacred blueprints for your life. The time for inquiry and reflection now gives way to the time for creation. It is time to break ground, to take the wisdom you have cultivated and use it to consciously shape your future. This is the sacred act of planting seeds of intention. Let us first release the old paradigm of how we approach the future. Our culture has taught us to be warriors, to be conquerors of our goals. We create rigid 5-year plans, we set aggressive targets, and we hustle, believing that through sheer force of will, we can bend reality to our desires. This approach is born from the ego's deep distrust of life. It is the energy of control. The ego believes the universe is a lazy or even hostile entity that must be wrestled into submission. It feels it must micromanage every detail, plan for every contingency, and force every outcome, for fear that if it relaxes its grip for even a moment, everything will fall into chaos. This relentless, anxious striving is exhausting. It often leads us to achieve goals that look impressive on the outside but feel hollow and lifeless on the inside, because they were born of fear, not of soul. This is the path of trying to build a perfect, artificial flower out of plastic. It may look right from a distance, but it has no scent, no life force, no true beauty. The Akashic path, the path of the architect, invites you to a different model, that of the master gardener. You are not a warrior fighting the future. You are a gardener co-creating with it. In this metaphor, the vast, responsive consciousness of the Akashic field is the fertile soil. It is rich with infinite potential, capable of growing anything. Your intentions are the seeds you hold in your hand. Your vibrational signature, the sum total of your love, your belief, your passion, your inner states, the living water and sunlight that will nourish these seeds. The mysterious, intelligent life force of the universe itself is the cosmic law of germination. Consider the wisdom of the gardener. A master gardener does not stand over a newly planted seed and scream at it to grow faster. They do not anxiously dig it up every morning to check on its progress, for this would surely kill it. No, the gardener's work is one of trust and partnership. They choose their seeds with care, selecting those that are aligned with the climate and the season. They prepare the soil with love, removing the stones of old, limiting beliefs. They plant the seed at the perfect depth, not too shallow and not too deep. They provide the necessary water and ensure there is sunlight. And then, they do the most important and often the most difficult thing. They step back. They surrender. They trust the unseen, intelligent process of life to do its part. They know that their job is to create the perfect conditions, and the universe's job is to provide the miracle of growth. This is the model for conscious creation. To practice this, we must understand the crucial difference between a goal and an intention. A goal is a product of the mind. It is a fixed, specific, external outcome. I want to earn $100,000 this year. I want to buy that specific house on that specific street. There is nothing inherently wrong with goals, but they are limited by what your mind currently believes is possible. An intention, on the other hand, is a directive from the soul. It is not about a specific what, but about the underlying energetic quality, the why and the how. It is about the feeling or the essence of the experience you wish to create. For example, the intention behind the goal of earning $100,000 might be to experience a life of financial freedom, security, and generous flow. The intention behind buying a specific house might be to create a sanctuary of peace, love, and joyful connection for my family. When you set an intention rather than a rigid goal, you give the universe creative freedom. You are saying, this is the feeling, this is the energy I wish to embody and experience. I am open to receiving this in ways that are even more magnificent than my limited mind can currently imagine. Perhaps financial freedom will come not through the job you expect, but through an unexpected creative project that takes flight. Perhaps the sanctuary of peace you desire will manifest not in the house you were fixated on, but in another home that is even more perfect for your family's needs. By focusing on the intention, the essence of the seed, you allow the universal gardener to choose the most beautiful flower to grow from it. You move from dictating terms to co-creating in a divine partnership. Let us now engage in a sacred ritual of planting such a seed. Find your quiet space, your inner sanctum. Move your awareness from the busy marketplace of your mind down into the quiet temple of your heart. Ask your soul, not your ego, this question: what quality, what feeling, what state of being is my soul ready to blossom into now? Listen for the answer. It might be a single word: peace, connection, courage, abundance, creativity, freedom. Take this word and formulate it as a simple, powerful, present tense intention. For example, if the word is creativity, your intention might be, I am a clear and joyful channel for creative expression. Now hold this sentence in your awareness. This is your sacred seed. The next step is to energize it. To do this, you must generate the feeling of this reality in your body right now. What does it feel like to be a clear and joyful channel for creativity? Feel the excitement in your chest. Feel the tingling in your hands. Feel the sense of wonder and flow in your mind. Breathe this powerful, positive emotional energy directly into the seed of your intention. See it begin to glow with a brilliant light. This is the water and the sunlight. And now, the final, crucial step: release. In your mind's eye, see yourself in the vast, fertile garden of the universe. Lovingly place this glowing seed of intention into the rich, dark soil. Cover it gently. Whisper a prayer of gratitude over it. And then, turn around and walk away. Walk away in absolute faith and trust, knowing that you have done your part perfectly and that the great gardener is now taking over. Your job is not to worry about the seed, but to continue tending to the garden of your own being, maintaining the high, clear vibration that will best support its growth. You are no longer an anxious builder, forcing plastic flowers into hard ground. You are a wise and patient gardener, in loving partnership with life itself. You choose your intentions with care. You plant them with love, and you surrender the outcome to a wisdom far greater than your own. As you become a master gardener of your own reality, tending to the seeds you have planted in the fertile, infinite field of Akashic potential, you begin to notice something profound. From a single seed, many possible plants can grow, many different paths can emerge. This raises a new and fascinating question. How do you navigate this emerging garden of possibilities? How do you choose your path when the future is no longer a single fixed road, but a beautiful, branching garden of probabilities? As you stand in the fertile garden of your consciousness, having planted the sacred seeds of your intention, you now look toward the horizon. The human mind, in its deep craving for security, yearns to know what will grow. It wants a guarantee. It wants to see a clear, singular road stretching out into the future. A map with every turn and landmark clearly labeled. We ask psychics. We consult divination tools. We desperately search for spoilers to the movie of our own life, believing that if we just knew what was coming, we could finally relax. But the Akashic field does not offer the comfort of a single, fixed destiny. It offers something infinitely more powerful, more thrilling, and more divine, a boundless landscape of pure potential. The belief in a single predetermined fate is one of an ego terrified of its own power. The ego fears the responsibility of choice. A fixed destiny, even a difficult one, provides a strange kind of comfort because it means we are not responsible. If our life is already written, then our choices do not truly matter, and we cannot make a wrong move. This belief, while seeming to offer safety from error, is the ultimate spiritual prison. It denies the single greatest gift bestowed upon a conscious soul, the sacred gift of free will. The universe does not see you as a puppet whose strings it pulls. It sees you as a sovereign co-creator, a divine being worthy of the power to choose your own reality. To understand how the future exists within the Akashic Records, we must release the metaphor of a single road and adopt a new one, that of a vast quantum landscape. Imagine yourself standing in a small boat at the head of a massive river delta. Before you, the water splits into 1,000 different channels, all flowing toward the great ocean of what could be. These are the probability streams. Based on the momentum of your life, up to this point, your beliefs, your karma, your habits, your vibrational signature, there is one stream that is wider, deeper, and has a stronger current than all the others. This is your most probable future. This is the path of least resistance. the timeline you will most likely experience if you change nothing. When a gifted intuitive reads your future, they are often sensing the powerful pull of this dominant current. They are telling you where your boat is currently heading. But here is the crucial truth. You are not bound to that current. You are the navigator of your boat, and you hold the paddle of free will. At any moment, through a conscious choice, a shift in perspective, a courageous action, you can apply your paddle to the water and steer your vessel out of the main stream and into a different one. You can choose a smaller, more winding channel that leads to a more interesting destination. You can even, through a profound transformation of your being, shift your boat into a completely different part of the delta, where a whole new set of powerful currents becomes available to you. The future is therefore both predictable and malleable. We can sense where we are going, but we always have the power to choose a different course. This means that the universe does not give you a map with a single pre-drawn route. A map, once you have it, makes you passive. You just follow the lines. Instead, the universe gives you something far more valuable and dynamic, a perfectly calibrated, infallibly accurate inner compass. This compass is your soul's resonance. It is your intuition. It is the tuning fork of your being that hums with a yes or stays silent with a no. Its true north is not a geographical location, but a vibrational one. The needle of your inner compass always points toward the direction of your highest growth, your most authentic expression, your most joyful path. Your work as the architect of your life is not to predict the final destination. It is to learn to read your own inner compass in the present moment and to trust its guidance above all external voices, all logical arguments, and all fearful protestations of the mind. Navigating your life, then, becomes less about long-term prediction and more about an intimate, moment-by-moment dialogue with your own inner guidance system. It is a dance between sensing the currents of probability and using your compass to choose your direction. When you are faced with a choice, a fork in your path, you do not need to mentally agonize over which is the right way. The mind can only analyze based on past data and future fears. It cannot feel the energy of a potential future. Your soul can. Let us engage in a simple practice for using your inner compass to navigate a choice. Find your quiet space. Let's say you are faced with a choice between two opportunities, Path A and Path B. Your mind has made lists of pros and cons for both, and you are trapped in a state of analysis paralysis. Let it all go. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths, clearing your energy. First, bring Path A into your awareness. Do not think about the specifics. Do not create stories about what might happen. Simply invite the energetic signature of this path into your body. Imagine for a moment you have already said yes to Path A. How does your body respond? Is there a sense of expansion in your chest, a feeling of lightness, of excitement, of peace? Or is there a subtle contraction, a knot in your stomach, a feeling of heaviness or dread? Be a neutral scientist of your own inner sensations. Note the feeling. Now, let the energy of Path A dissolve completely. Take a cleansing breath. And now, invite the energetic signature of Path B into your body. Again, just feel. How does this path resonate within your cells? Is there a sense of warmth, of homecoming, of joyful challenge? Or is there a feeling of resistance, of falseness, of being drained? Note this feeling. Now, compare the two somatic experiences. The mind may have 1,000 logical reasons why one path is better, but your body, your soul's compass, knows the truth. The path that feels more like an expansion of your authentic self, the one that resonates with a quiet, confident yes in your being, is the direction your compass is pointing. Learning to trust this feeling over the mind's loud arguments is a master skill of conscious creation. You are not a passenger on a train, destined for a single, unchangeable station that was determined for you long ago. You are the captain of a ship on a wide-open sea of potential. You have been given the gift of a divine compass that never fails. Your freedom lies in your willingness to use it. Your joy lies in your courage to follow where it leads, even when the destination is not yet visible on the horizon. This act of choosing your path, of bravely steering your vessel into a new current based on the quiet whisper of your soul's intuition, requires one more profound and essential element. It requires that you release the need to see the entire journey laid out before you. It requires that you let go of the need to control the final harbor. It requires that you simply trust the unfolding of the voyage itself. You are the captain of your vessel on the vast ocean of potential. You have learned to read the divine inner compass of your soul, and with courage, you have set your heading, steering your life toward a new current, a new probability stream that resonates with your deepest truth. You are moving, but now you face the most subtle and advanced test of the conscious creator, the test of trust. Having set your course, can you now let go of the oars? Can you allow the great, intelligent currents of the cosmos to carry you forward? Can you trust the unfolding? The human ego is a master micromanager. It is driven by a deep and pervasive anxiety that if it is not constantly in control, if it is not planning, strategizing, and forcing every single outcome, the entire enterprise of your life will collapse into ruin. This need for control is rooted in a fundamental distrust of life itself. We have been taught to see the universe as a chaotic, random, or at best, indifferent place. We believe we are alone, and that everything depends on our own frantic effort. This belief forces us to obsess over the how. We have planted our seed of intention, and now we worry. How will it happen? When will it happen? What if it doesn't happen? We try to map out every single step from here to our desired destination. And when life presents an unexpected detour, we panic, believing our plan has failed. This constant state of vigilance, this white-knuckled grip on the wheel of life, is utterly exhausting. It closes us off to the magic of synchronicity, because we are too focused on our own rigid blueprint to notice the beautiful, unforeseen shortcuts the universe is offering us. To release this agony of control, let us embrace a new and far more relaxing metaphor, that of the cosmic restaurant. When you go to a fine restaurant, you peruse the menu, which is the field of infinite potential. You listen to your heart's appetite and decide on the experience you wish to have. This is setting your intention. A waiter, who is a representative of the restaurant's creative intelligence, comes to your table. You place your order with clarity and confidence. This is the act of sending your vibrational request out into the Akashic field. And then, what do? You lean back, you trust, you enjoy the music, the conversation, the ambiance. You do not for a moment entertain the idea of storming into the kitchen to tell the master chef how to chop the onions or at what temperature to sear the fish. To do so would be a profound act of distrust. It would be insulting to the chef's mastery and would only disrupt the creative process. You trust that the chef, with their infinitely greater knowledge and skill, is preparing your meal in a way that will be far more delicious than anything you could have micromanaged yourself. Worrying about the how and when of your manifestation is like harassing the master chef. Trusting the cosmic unfolding is relaxing into the knowing that your perfect meal is on its way. This leads us to a clear and powerful understanding of the division of labor in the co-creative process. There is your job, and there is the universe's job. Confusing the two is the source of all struggle. Your job is this: to get deeply in touch with your soul's desire and set a clear, heartfelt intention. Your job is to align your own vibrational signature with the feeling of that intention already being your reality. Your job is to listen to your inner compass and take the next inspired, intuitive step that appears right in front of you, even if you do not understand how it connects to the final outcome. Your job is to tend to the garden of your own being, to remain in a state of gratitude and joyful expectation. The universe's job is everything else. It is the job of the how, the when, and the who. The universe's job is to orchestrate the vast, intricate symphony of events, encounters, and synchronicities that will bring your intention to fruition. Its intelligence can see the entire landscape, the entire network of probabilities, in a way your limited mind never could. It will arrange for you to bump into the right person at the right time. It will cause you to see an article or hear a song that contains the exact piece of information you need. It will close one door only to open another, more magnificent one you didn't even know existed. The universe is the master logistician, the grand weaver of fate. Your attempts to control the how are like a single thread trying to tell the weaver how to create the tapestry. Trust, therefore, is not a passive state of waiting. It is not giving up. It is an active and courageous state of allowance. It is a conscious choice to remain in a state of high vibration, even when you see no outward evidence that your desire is manifesting. It is the unwavering faith that the seed you planted is germinating in the dark, unseen soil of the cosmos. It is the joy you feel in taking the one small step you can see today, without the need to see the entire staircase. This is the state of grace. It is the space where miracles, which are simply the universe's natural unfolding, can occur. To help you cultivate this profound state of trust, you can use a simple but powerful practice of release and delegation. Whenever you find yourself falling into the old habit of worrying, obsessing, or trying to figure out the how, stop. Take a small piece of paper and write down your core intention. Write it clearly and simply. Hold this paper in your hands. For a moment, close your eyes and infuse the paper with the powerful, positive feeling of this intention already being a reality in your life. Feel the joy, the peace, the gratitude. Then, you will perform a physical act of release. This symbolic act signals to your subconscious mind that you are truly letting go. You could have a small, beautiful universe box, and you can fold the paper and place it inside, closing the lid. You could safely burn the paper, watching the smoke carry your intention up to the heavens. You could go outside and bury it in the earth, planting it in the care of Mother Nature. As you perform this physical act, say these words, or your own version of them, aloud. I have done my part with clarity and love. I now joyfully delegate the how and the when to the infinite wisdom and intelligence of the universe. I release my need to control. I trust the cosmic unfolding. 1. Feel the energetic shift as you do this. Feel the responsibility lift from your shoulders and dissolve into the vast, capable hands of the cosmos. You have officially delegated the project. Now your only job is to live your life in joy and watch for the magic. As you learn to lean back into this profound and intelligent trust, you stop straining to see what is over the horizon. Your focus shifts from the distant future to the vibrant present. You become exquisitely sensitive and deeply grateful for the guidance that is available to you right here, right now. You learn to read the subtle signs and omens the universe provides along your chosen path. And the most intimate, the most constant, and the most reliable source of this divine feedback is the miraculous instrument you inhabit every moment of every day, your own physical body. You are learning to lean back into the vast, intelligent embrace of the universe, to trust the cosmic unfolding. You have set your intention, chosen your course with your inner compass, and released your anxious grip on the outcome. As you relax into this state of active trust, your awareness shifts. You cease straining to see into the distant future and become exquisitely attuned to the guidance that is available to you in the eternal present. The universe is always speaking to you, always offering feedback, always confirming your path. And its most direct, most honest, and most intimate channel of communication is the divine instrument you inhabit every moment of your life, your physical body. For centuries, we have been taught to distrust, to disconnect from, and even to despise our bodies. We have been conditioned to see the body as a mere vehicle for the mind, a machine of flesh and bone that is prone to sickness, weakness, and decay. We have been told it is a source of sinful temptation, an obstacle to spiritual enlightenment. We live our lives from the neck up, identifying with the ceaseless chatter of our thoughts, treating our bodies like beasts of burden to be disciplined, pushed past exhaustion, and medicated into submission when they dare to protest. This great disconnection is the source of profound alienation. It creates the feeling of being a ghost driving a machine rather than a whole, unified, and sacred being. By severing our conscious connection to the body, we have cut ourselves off from the most reliable and truthful oracle we will ever possess. It is time to reclaim the holiness of your physical form. Your body is not a dumb machine. It is a miracle of divine intelligence, a highly sensitive antenna designed to perceive and interpret the subtle energies of the Akashic field. Every sensation you experience is a form of information. Every gut feeling, every flutter in your heart, every wave of sudden fatigue, every tension in your shoulders is a direct, unfiltered message from your higher self, a piece of guidance from the universe itself. Your body is a living compass, and its needle is somatic sensation. The direction of yes, of alignment with your soul's path, registers as a feeling of expansion, openness, lightness, warmth, and ease. The direction of no, of misalignment, registers as a feeling of contraction, tightness, heaviness, coldness, and unease. The mind is a master of deception. It can rationalize any decision. It can justify staying in a job that is draining your life force because the pay is good. It can convince you to remain in a relationship that makes you feel small because it is better than being alone. The mind is conditioned by fear, by societal expectations, and by past trauma. It builds elaborate arguments to keep you safe within the confines of what is known. The body, however, does not know how to lie. It cannot be fooled by a logical argument. Your body will tell you the truth about the soul-crushing job through the persistent knot in your stomach every Sunday evening. It will tell you the truth about the misaligned relationship through the chronic tension in your jaw and the inexplicable weariness you feel in that person's presence. These are not random malfunctions. These are not signs that your body is broken. They are the loving, insistent messages from your own soul, delivered through your personal oracle, begging you to listen. Learning to hear these whispers before they are forced to become the screams of illness, burnout, or crisis is one of the most essential skills of living an authentic and joyful life. This is a journey of resensitization, of learning a language you once knew as a child but have long since forgotten. It is the language of somatic wisdom. It requires you to gently shift your primary source of information from the loud, often unreliable narrator in your head to the quiet, unfailingly honest sensations in your body. Let us engage in a simple practice for consulting this inner oracle when faced with a decision. Let go of the mental pros and cons list. Find your quiet space and close your eyes. Bring your awareness down out of your head and fully into your body. Feel the weight of your body, the contact points with the chair or the floor. Feel the rhythm of your own breath without trying to change it. Now, hold one of the possibilities before you, Path A, in your awareness. Do not analyze it. Simply hold the intention of saying yes to this path, and then begin a gentle scan of your body. What is the sensation in your throat? Is it open or tight? What is the feeling in your chest? Is there a sense of warmth and expansion, or a feeling of pressure and collapse? What do you notice in your solar plexus, in your gut? Is there a feeling of calm, settled energy, or a churning, anxious knot? Just notice. There is no need to judge it. When you are done, take a deep, cleansing breath and consciously release the energy of Path A. Let it dissolve completely. Now, hold the other possibility, Path B, in your awareness. Once again, simply feel. Scan your body from head to toe. Notice the subtle shifts. Does this possibility bring a lightness to your being? Does it make you feel more energized, more vibrant, more like your true self? Or does it bring a sense of heaviness and depletion? The answer is not in the mental stories you tell about each path. The answer is in the clear, simple, somatic preference your body demonstrates. One path will feel like an expansion, the other will feel like a contraction. Your only work is to honor the wisdom of your oracle. Trust the expansion. It is the compass needle pointing you toward your soul's true north. By learning to honor your body as a sacred instrument, you begin to heal the great schism between spirit and matter, between mind and body. You come to understand that your spirituality is not something to be practiced only in meditation, but something to be lived, to be embodied in every moment. Your body is not an impediment to your spiritual journey. It is the very vessel of it. It is the altar upon which your life unfolds. To care for your body, to listen to its wisdom, to honor its needs for rest, nourishment, and joyful movement is one of the most profound spiritual acts you can perform. It is a declaration to the universe that you are ready to receive its guidance not just through your mind, but through the full, glorious, intelligent totality of your being. As you learn to navigate your life this way, guided not just by a distant star but by the unshakable, embodied knowing in your own cells, you integrate all the principles we have explored. You are the architect, guided by the oracle that is your own body, trusting the cosmic unfolding. You are a whole, sovereign, and divinely guided being. This leads us to the final practical question of this deep journey. What does it actually look and feel like to weave all of these threads together, to live this way, day in and day out? This is the beautiful, graceful art of living a soul-led life. You have journeyed from the infinite expanse of the cosmic library to the intimate, sacred oracle of your own body. You have gathered the tools of the architect. You have learned to rewrite your narratives, to balance the ledger of karma, to navigate the field of probabilities, and to trust the great cosmic unfolding. You now possess the blueprints, the compass, and the wisdom to create a life of profound alignment. The final question is one of integration. How do you live this? How do you take these profound, transcendent truths and weave them into the fabric of your ordinary, everyday existence? This is the beautiful, lifelong art of living a soul-led life. Let us first approach, with boundless compassion, the challenge that every spiritual seeker faces, the gap between knowing and doing. You may have a profound, heart-opening experience in meditation. You may read a passage in a book that illuminates your entire being. You may feel, with absolute certainty, a sense of peace and interconnectedness. And then, the phone rings with bad news. You get stuck in traffic. You have a disagreement with a loved one. And in an instant, the peace evaporates, and you find yourself reacting from the old, familiar patterns of fear, anger, or anxiety. This can lead to a sense of spiritual failure, a belief that you have lost the connection. It creates a painful division in your life. Your spiritual self who is calm and wise, and your everyday self who is stressed and reactive. A soul-led life is not about eliminating this gap overnight. It is about the gentle, patient, and persistent work of closing it. It is the commitment to infuse your ordinary moments with the sacred awareness you have cultivated, to make your daily life the very altar of your practice. The goal is not to escape the world to be spiritual. It is to bring your spirituality fully into the world. To guide us, let us embrace a final, culminating metaphor, that of the lighthouse and its keeper. Your soul, your unique essence, your authentic presence in the world, is the lighthouse. Its purpose is simply to stand firm on its foundation and shine its light, steadily and without apology. It does not chase after ships or worry if they see its beam. It does not dim its light for fear of being too bright. It simply, magnificently, shines. The brilliant, powerful lantern at the top of the lighthouse is your inner wisdom, your direct connection to the Akashic field, the source of your guidance. And you, the conscious self, are the lighthouse keeper. The keeper has a sacred daily duty. It is the inner work. The keeper must diligently clean the lenses of perception, wiping away the smudges of old judgments and limiting beliefs. The keeper must polish the great mirrors of self-awareness so they reflect with perfect clarity. The keeper must ensure the fuel of self-love, self-care, and spiritual practice is always topped up, so the light never falters. This is your meditation, your journaling, your time in nature, your acts of forgiveness and self-inquiry. The work of the keeper is essential, but it is not the goal. The goal is the shining of the light. A soul-led life is one in which you gracefully dance between these two roles. You are the diligent keeper, faithfully tending to your inner world, and you are the steadfast lighthouse, effortlessly radiating your authentic presence into the outer world. This understanding transforms your idea of what a spiritual life looks like. It is not a destination of perpetual bliss where you are free from all challenges. It is a way of walking, a way of being, in the midst of life as it is. A soul-led life is measured not by the absence of storms, but by the steadiness of your light within them. It is feeling the wave of anger rise and choosing to take a breath before you speak. It is noticing the pull of an old, self-sabotaging habit and choosing, just this once, to walk in a different direction. It is feeling the sting of criticism and choosing to be your own source of validation rather than lashing out. Success on this path is not a fantasy of perfection. It is defined by how quickly you can return to your heart after being thrown off balance. It is the grace you show yourself in the process of becoming. It is the courage to begin again, every single morning. To make this a living, breathing reality, you can adopt a simple, profound practice of daily alignment. It takes no more than 2 minutes, but it can change the entire energetic texture of your day. Upon waking, before your mind is captured by the day's to-do list and the world's demands, find a moment of stillness. Sit up and place a hand on your heart. Take one deep, conscious breath, signaling your arrival in the present moment. Then, ask your soul a simple question. What is my highest intention for this day? What single quality do you wish for me to embody as I walk through the hours ahead? Listen in the silence. The answer will not be complex. It will be a single word, a feeling. Perhaps it is patience, or kindness, especially to yourself, or presence, or courage, or playfulness. Whatever the word is, let that be your compass for the day. Hold it in your heart, and as you move through your day, use this word as your guide. When you are faced with a moment of stress or a difficult choice, pause. Ask yourself, what would patience do right now? What would be the most courageous response here? How can I bring the energy of presence to this interaction? This simple practice transforms spirituality from an abstract ideal into a practical, moment-to-moment guidance system. It makes every moment a new opportunity to live in alignment with your soul. You are the lighthouse, and you are its keeper. You are no longer trying to become something in the future. You are practicing being who you truly are. Right now, you are integrating the wisdom of the stars into the cells of your body. You are remembering that the sacred is not found in a distant temple, but in the rhythm of your own breath, in the warmth of your own heart, in the choices you make in this moment, and this one, and this one. As you walk this path, living day by day as this integrated, soul-led being, you begin to notice something profound about the nature of the path itself. You realize there is no final summit to be reached. There is no ultimate destination where you will graduate from life's lessons. You realize with a deep and joyful peace that the purpose of the journey is the journey itself. This leads us to the final, most liberating perspective on the very nature of existence. The understanding that life is not a finite problem to be solved, but an infinite game to be played. You have walked the path of the architect, tended the garden of your soul, and learned to navigate by the light of your own inner compass. You have integrated your wisdom into a soul-led life, a moment-to-moment dance of alignment and grace. As you embody this way of being, you arrive at the final, most liberating vista of understanding. It is a perspective that dissolves all remaining anxiety, all striving, all fear of not being enough, or not having arrived. It is the realization that life is not a finite problem to be solved, but an infinite game to be played. Our entire culture is predicated on the rules of a finite game. A finite game is played for the purpose of winning, which brings the game to an end. It has fixed rules, clear boundaries, and at its conclusion, there are winners and losers. A football match is a finite game. A corporate promotion is treated as a finite game. Even healing is often viewed as a finite game. You beat the illness, and the game is over. We have been taught to bring this mindset to the very experience of living. We strive to accumulate the most wealth, to achieve the highest status, to build the perfect family, to attain enlightenment, believing that these are finish lines we can cross, trophies we can win. This mindset keeps us in a perpetual state of anxiety and comparison. We are always measuring our progress, always worried we are falling behind, always looking for the end. The joy of any victory is fleeting, because the moment one finite game ends, the pressure to win the next one begins. But life itself, in its boundless, mysterious, and ever-evolving nature, is not a finite game. Life is an infinite game. An infinite game is not played for the purpose of winning, but for the glorious purpose of continuing the play. In an infinite game, the rules are fluid and can change by agreement. The boundaries are ever expanding. There are no winners or losers, only players who drop in and out of the game. The goal is not to end the game, but to keep it going, to make it more interesting, more beautiful, more expressive. Love is an infinite game. Learning is an infinite game. Culture is an infinite game, and the journey of your soul through the Akashic field is the most magnificent infinite game of all. To play the infinite game of life with the mindset of a finite player is the source of all our deepest suffering. It is like trying to win a beautiful friendship or beat your child at the game of growing up. The very concept is absurd and destructive. The finite player sees a challenge and asks, "How can I win this?" The infinite player sees a challenge and asks, "How can this make the game more interesting? What can this teach me that will allow me to play with more wisdom and grace?" The finite player sees other people as competitors to be defeated or resources to be used. The infinite player sees other people as fellow players, essential for the richness and continuation of the game. Consider the metaphor of the horizon. The finite player believes the horizon is a real destination, a finish line they can reach. They spend their entire life sailing towards it, growing ever more frustrated as it continues to recede before them. They die feeling like a failure for never having arrived. The infinite player understands that the horizon is not a destination to be reached, but a direction to be enjoyed. The beauty of the horizon lies precisely in the fact that you can never conquer it. It is a constant, beautiful invitation to keep exploring, to keep sailing, to continue the journey. The infinite player delights in the voyage itself, knowing that the purpose is not to arrive, but to experience the vastness of the sea. This is the ultimate perspective on your Akashic record. It is not a cosmic report card on which you will be graded. It is not a history book with a final, concluding chapter where you either win or lose. The Akashic record is the living, ever-expanding chronicle of the infinite game. It is the story of how consciousness, through you, chose to play. Your purpose here is not to write a perfect story, but to write an authentic one. Your goal is not to complete your healing or achieve enlightenment as if they are final victories. Your goal is to engage in the beautiful, ongoing process of healing and awakening for the sheer love of the play. To play the game of life for the joy of playing is to have already won in the only way that truly matters. When you release the need to win, you are finally free to truly play. Let this understanding transform the way you measure your days. At the end of each day, the finite player conducts a performance review. Did I accomplish enough? Did I make progress on my goals? Was I successful? This is a recipe for perpetual dissatisfaction. The infinite player, at the end of each day, engages in a practice of process appreciation. Instead of judging your performance, you can ask yourself a different set of questions. Ask, where did I feel most alive today? In what moments did I feel the pure joy of the game? Ask, what surprised me today? What did I learn that was unexpected? Ask, where did I express my most authentic self? Where did my actions align with my soul's desire to play with love, courage, and creativity? And finally, how can I invite more of that beautiful, playful energy into my game tomorrow? This practice shifts your focus from the relentless pursuit of external products to a deep appreciation for the sacred process of living itself. You are an infinite player on an infinite field in a game with no end. The purpose is not to finish. The purpose is to deepen, to expand, to love more fully, to experience more richly, to become a more and more beautiful expression of the divine consciousness that is playing as you. There is no urgency. There is no spiritual deadline you are about to miss. There is nothing to prove. There is only the opportunity, in this moment, to play the game with all your heart. And so, you stand now, not as a weary traveler at the end of a long and arduous road, but as a joyful and eternal player on an infinite field of light. You can finally lay down the heavy burden of trying to get it right, of trying to win. You are home, right here, right now, in the beautiful, sacred, and endless game. Let us now, in our final moments together, gather the entirety of this journey, from the first step into the cosmic library to this final, playful breath, and allow its truth to settle into the very core of our being, like a gentle, homecoming rain. And so, we arrive at the end of our journey together, only to find ourselves standing at a new beginning. We began in a vast, imagined library, feeling like a small and curious visitor, searching the infinite shelves for a book that might contain the answers to our lives, the secrets of our soul. We sought a history that was written about us. We have traveled far since then, through the corridors of time, through the mirrors of our relationships, and into the sacred, silent chambers of the heart. Look around you now. See where you stand. You are in the center of that same great library, but it is no longer strange or external to you. You now know that you are not merely a reader of these sacred texts. You are the librarian, holding the golden key of your own self-awareness. You have learned that you are the author, with the sovereign power to choose the meaning and the narrative of your own story. And in the final, most profound realization, you have come to understand that you are the book itself, living, breathing, holy volume of light, bound not in leather, but in flesh and bone. The library is not a place you visit. The library is what you are. The entirety of the Akashic field is the boundless field of your own consciousness. The greatest secret you have learned here is not contained in the ancient stories of what has been. The true power does not lie in the chapters already written. It lies in the quiet, luminous, and infinite potential of the pages that are still blank. The purpose of this journey was not to give you answers, but to hand you the pen. The great mystery of existence is not a story that is told to you. It is a story that is told through you, with every breath, every choice, every act of love. The greatest secret of the Akashic Records is not that they are a record of you. The secret is that they are a record by you. So now, let this be your final meditation. Let the world fall away. Let my voice fade into the silence from which it came. There is nothing more you need to learn. Nothing more you need to seek outside of yourself. All the wisdom, all the love, all the power you have ever searched for is right here, beating in your own heart, waiting in your own stillness. Close your eyes, listen, and begin to write the next line.